Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a celebratory vlog.
We're hyped.
Yay! Full of rejoice, as you've probably worked out by now, especially with our super hype, awesome montage. We hit 10,000 subscribers. Yay! So it's a pretty big milestone. I think 10,000 is what I now view. As we're no longer a small channel, we are a medium-sized channel. It's completely arbitrary terms. And then I would define large as
50k plus or
100k
plus. That's fair. That's fair.
And then and then anything over 1 million is just like insane.
Yeah.
So we're going to be making this vlog for a few reasons, just to talk about firstly what we have in mind for the future, what we're doing for the next year or however long or whatever. And then just a bit more explanation about how things are going. And then we have a lot of questions and answers.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
We've got a heap of them. You guys were pretty active in sending us questions. We figured once we hit about the 90 mark, that's well, the 90 comment mark at least on the YouTube video, that's a good place to start for a Q&A.
Yeah, I would say that Q&A video I made for like a 30-second video, it would certainly have the highest proportion of comments relative to views. Either that or the Smite video where there's just a whole bunch of butthurt fanboys arguing about MOBAs and stuff in the comments. Yeah.
Man, this wouldn't be a General Tournament vlog if you didn't get off topic, Machine. So.
Well, it's on topic. It's relevant to...
It is.
It was a Smite video. Anyway, so just to start off with, I guess, this is going to be a long video, by the way. There was a lot of questions. And also... We didn't prepare like that hardcore for this video. It's going to be pretty improvised, so may not be the most interesting video in the world, but hopefully, you know, you'll find some value in what we have to say. So as you can see, we're going to have a video playing just so it's not like the boring view of our faces. But anyway, to start off with, the future of the channel. Well, I guess we should probably start by thanking everyone, of course.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be the good thing to do. So
the people who are supporting us.
I got to make sure I'm trying really hard to actually let Blake have his say, because in these sort of videos, I often talk far too much. So go on, buddy.
I like how you chose the moment I started speaking to interject with that.
Wow.
that was great.
See?
Appreciate. I really do. Okay, yeah. So first of all, big thanks to our Patreon backers who are obviously allowing us to do this. It's the only reason that we're able to put out as many videos as we do. It's great to have that consistent support and just and feedback as well. So yeah, illies and a half to those Patreon backers.
Oh, just thanks to everyone in general.
And everyone who is supporting our channel as well. You
know, there've been a lot of people that have been following us pretty early on. I think because of what we do, because it's very niche content. It's you know, there isn't many other channels that do videos for 0 hour and such. So I feel like because of that, we have some fans and viewers that are very appreciative and very loyal. And for that, we're very grateful. You know, we do enjoy reading your comments. Not all of them, but most of them.
Majority. The ones that say I'm bad at video games, I'm watching you.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
yeah.
And even if, you know, people aren't supporting us or whatever on Patreon, you know, that's fine.
Yeah. It's just nice to have you in our community, to be, you know, commenting, watching our videos and enjoying the content that we make. If we didn't have a viewer base, we wouldn't be doing this. So it'd
still be fun casting, but there wouldn't be that level of motivation to keep doing it. Sure. It would be, you know, be kind of boring, really. It wouldn't have it be as satisfying. So yeah, of course, thanks to everyone that's been watching our content for over the years. Thanks to everyone that's been not turning off ad block. Thanks to everyone that's, you know, shared our videos with their friends or sent us in replays. All that stuff. So what we're going to do before we get into it, we're going to go ahead and actually individually thank all of our Patreon backers right now. So we're going to be going to their first names just in case people are like secret spies, you know, and they're like they have their covert ID.
Working for the Soviet Union since I've been listening to all the James Bond books lately. So.
Yeah. So big thanks to Christopher, Sultan, Hysteria, that's not his actual name, Casper, Jonathan, there's going to be a lot of the Jonathans, I think. Jonas, Lewis, his name isn't Shuffle Huffle. Peter, Emil, Jacob, Nick. You can start now.
Okay. I hate you, Machine. You're the worst. I don't... How?
T-S-C-H-A-E-N.
Fantastic. Oh, we spent the most time on that name, so that's fine. as well. Iron Rat, Kevin, Basor, Timothy. You left me all the hard names, didn't you? I'm gonna go with Sergey for that one.
Sergey.
No, Sergey. I'm pretty sure is the correct
Whatever.
pronunciation. John, Nils, Vipa, Hendrix, Tom, Max, Ryan, another Christopher. You guys know who you are. Gordon, Lawish, Chris, Daniel, Anthony, Tom, James, Scott, Timothy, Chris, Paul, Thomas, Sven, and Conrad.
Yeah, all right.
Fantastic. Okay,
so
that went
yeah,
well.
it's pretty important because and the reason why our Patreon backing is so important is because lately, as I'm sure you've noticed, we are now posting a video every single day, and it's been like that for about a month now. For the past month, without fail, we've been posting a video every day. So. And the reason why that is, we'll go into this now. I guess we'll talk a little bit about ourselves and our situation. Basically, up until about a month ago, I was working part-time. I used to work at an electronic retail store. The name is Dick Smith. Everyone finds that funny because it has the word Willie in it. The word Dick in it. Of course, it was named after Richard Smith, the founder. So yeah, I used to do like sales and I was management there. And then long story short, the company ended up closing down. Due to mainly, like greed, corporate negligence, a bunch of things like that. So basically what happened is I lost my job, but I'll be getting a redundancy payout. With that, combined with our Patreon backing, it seemed like a great time, the best opportunity so far, to actually dedicate myself to the channel full time. So when I was working part-time, it obviously took up a lot of my time, so we were only posting maybe 3 or 4 videos a week, once every 2 or 3 days. And now that I'm not working a job anymore, I have the time and effort to be able to post a video every single day. So because I do all of the production, the PR, the editing, the rendering, all the kind of the non-casting aspect, I guess. So whereas Blake's in a little bit of a different situation, if you want to talk about.
Yeah, sure, why not, while we're going into it. So I'm still in, and I love casting, but I'm also doing other stuff as well. So this will probably come up later, but yeah, might as well talk about it now. So up until recently, I was general manager at a fruit and veg store. I was working there, and I've been there for a long time, since I was little 12-y Blake in high school. So finally ended up leaving that because I'm currently in the process of joining the police force in Western Australia. So which will hopefully be coming up soon. But don't worry, I'm going to continue to cast even when I'm out arresting people who go for 3 dozer builds. So. Oh
yeah, no, the micro police.
Yeah.
Stop! This is the police. Don't micro that poorly. to quote Mr. Day 9. Yeah. So basically, Blake's going to be working full time in the police force. Hopefully, working full time in the police force. But that shouldn't affect the flow of the content because. You probably come over like what 5 or 6 hours a week.
Yeah, I'd say
maybe
that,
twice a week for a few hours after training, and so he can. That's not a lot of time. He can do that whilst working full time. Whereas because I do all of the production and everything else, it equates to essentially the hours of working a full time job. In the time that I've invested in the channel, I could have actually had a university degree and that's part of the reason why I dropped out. I was originally studying IT at ECU, or university here in WA, and it wasn't the only reason. I probably would have dropped out anyway, but that was kind of when we were starting this off, and wasn't for me. So, as we have disclaimed in the Patreon, basically all of the funding does go to me, because I'm the one that actually uses that money to pay the bills and eat food. Basically because I'm the one that kind of needs the money in order to not get a job, in order to have the time. So, yeah, that's basically... And some people are like, well, why don't you split it? But it's because, when he's working full-time, probably getting paid way more than I ever will through YouTube.
It will actually allow Callum to live and eat things other than me green, which is a big plus.
Yeah.
And I love my best friend, so yeah, no, it's just like I come over for casting, which is a small portion of the work that actually goes into the YouTube channel. It's like, so while I definitely enjoy that, I don't plan on making that a full-time career, whereas like Callum has put a lot of investment into the channel.
And yeah, I think it's for the best as well, because like if Blake was to edit half of the videos, it would cause issues.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, Blake, your editing is shit. Do it again. Like, I think there would be kind of like this power struggle of where it's like different levels of ideas and how to edit and stuff. Though what generally happens though, because we all obviously have like a PayPal where you can just donate. And for that, it's usually split. Like, say if someone's just like, hey, here's $20, go buy yourself some beers on me. Then we're like, okay, cool, and then we'll go like
buy beers,
kebabs or whatever it is. So if you do want, of course, want to, just like give us a one-off donation because you really like Blake, then you can do that via PayPal without going into the monthly Patreon thing. So that's that's kind of what our situations are. When are you going to be joining the police, you think?
Hopefully soon. Hopefully inside the next couple of months. I need to call them and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
I was hoping it'd be the next couple of months, but yeah, it should have been a little while ago, but I was sick, so we had some issues. So yeah,
it's been a bit delayed, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's been a bit delayed, but I mean, it's a long process getting into something like that. So, and I am certainly keen to get into it. So hopefully very soon.
Yeah, I should also just, while we're still kind of on the topic of financing, just to reiterate, at the moment, like the amount of money I'm actually getting from Patreon and from YouTube isn't actually enough to cover my cost of living. It's almost there though. It's not not far off. But like technically, I'm living out of my savings that I've made from working part time. So basically, that's kind of why we're really hoping to do the Patreon, and why we're still hoping that it takes off more than it does. Because if it stays where it is, for example, and like after 6 months, I'm still living off of my savings, then I'm going to have to go get a job again, and then have less time for videos. I just feel like I should interject that, because YouTube, like ad revenue from YouTube actually sucks. Everyone runs ad block, and like the amount of money isn't that much anyway. So we get like more than double from Patreon than from YouTube. So basically our entire channel is funded, mostly by Patreon. I think when it comes to internet overall, crowdfunding is necessary. But I think with that, we can kind of move on from this now. I mean, we don't want to always be returning back to this. So that's kind of the unfun topic out of the way. And now let's go ahead and get into it. So yes, this will be a long video. It's already been a while, but let's do it. Future of the channel, what do we have in mind, Blake? What are we going to be doing?
Look, I mean, we'll be doing things. We'll be doing one video per week. Oh, wait. The machine's mistyped there.
Really? Did I say that?
You definitely wrote that down. First line, halfway through.
Oh,
there
whoops.
we go.
Oh, sorry.
You'll have to retype that, man. You're lucky I don't just read off what you say. I have a script, guys. I'm only allowed to say what the machine says. Get me out of here. We'll be continuing with the one video per day schedule at this point, and that's the most sustainable and probably the best approach to it. And the reason behind that is, for starters,
whoa, what happened to the webcam?
Australian internet.
Webcam.
Whoa. How long's it been like that?
I don't know. Oh, that's fine. It's autofocuses.
Okay, right, cool.
Hello. Yeah, it's fine.
They can see us now. Thought we'd been abducted by aliens. Right, so in terms, that's mainly due to Australian internet and the fact that the videos have to be rendered. So it's not only the amount, the time you have to it's not only the time you have to put in order to edit the videos, which is a small portion of that. It's also the fact that videos take a long time to render. What's like the average length for like an hour-long video?
And a half.
So, yeah.
2 hours. Like depends. Like on the quality, on the format. Uploading and rendering takes a long time.
And uploading's the longest.
And when you're rendering, your PC is taking a lot of time. You can't do much while rendering. You can watch videos and stuff, and you can like write, but you can't really game while it's rendering. And then uploading, it slows the internet down, so you kind of only do it overnight. So yeah, one video per day is pretty much the bottleneck. And even then, it's kind of like, even if we had super fast internet and stuff, I doubt we would do more than one video per day. You kind of get the diminishing returns where, most people, and maybe not most, but a lot of people aren't going to watch like 2 videos every day. And I think it's better to take that time and putting it into working on better projects. Like, for example, I really enjoy doing more written projects about reviews for RTS games, because there were a lot of games that came out which I didn't review. I still haven't actually reviewed Active Aggression. I won't now, it's kind of too late, but say if a new RTS came out now, like, I would definitely review it because now I have the time for it. And the reviews, they do well. I enjoy doing them. And also, like, what makes RTS games fun, like a lot of things like that. I'm currently writing an article now about why girls don't play RTS games, at least nowhere near as much as guys do. So one video per day combined with, like, working on more like more advanced kind of video projects every now and again. But do you want to talk a bit about, like, what sort of games we'll be covering and the proportions and such?
Yeah, sure, why not? So at the moment, the same kind of content that you have been seeing, with a pretty heavy focus still on 0 Hour, which we love the hell out of, and had some awesome games recently as well. We've had a really good run of videos just recently. Keeping up with our Company of Heroes 2 content as well. We'll be able to get into the balance preview patches that are coming out probably later on during this video, but we'll be solid on those two. So we'll be releasing. What does that work out to? Probably 2 of each of those a week normally.
Yeah,
or normally ends up being about 2.
The main 2 for us is certainly 0 Hour and Company of Heroes 2. Those will be the majority of the videos that we do. But there will also still be a consistent amount of Dawn of War 2 and Rise of Nations, just not as much as 0 Hour and Company of Heroes. Yeah,
other games that we have been throwing into recently. Yeah, we love a bit of Dawn of War 2 and Rise of Nations. They're pretty great. I think we're doing some Rise of Nations later on tonight.
We actually have. We have 3 replays to do for Rise of Nations,
which is pretty hype. So yeah, definitely into those ones. And obviously, if new RTS games come out and they're awesome, we'll obviously have the opportunity to expand into those, which is a big plan. And obviously, the big hype one is Dawn of War 3.
Oh, DAO 3 hype.
DAO 3 hype, man. Oh, we're feeling the DAO 3. And that's obviously the biggest, hypest title coming out. The reason for that, not only it's a really well-known game series that has a pretty great following, which often leads to well, hopefully an awesome game and a really big viewer base, a really big player base as well, because of the popularity of the series. So that's obviously a big hype for us, is when Dawn of War 3 comes out. And obviously, so if something else comes out before then and it happens to be awesome, that's something else we could potentially expand into.
I still have my Eldar and my Space Marines, like my figurines, under my bed.
I've got them in a container somewhere, dude. Yeah,
we've both been to Warhammer for quite about a decade now. Yeah, or almost a decade. Feeling old now, but. Yeah, but like that's kind of like the brand of our channel is like RTS in general. So we're kind of expanding out, and that's why, you know, I'm doing so many RTS reviews and RTS discussion and a lot of just different RTS games. So we do want to incorporate that. Maybe do some new games eventually, only if it's for a couple of times. Like I've been playing a bit of Age of Empires 3. I love that game. Maybe I'll eventually do a couple of casts on that, but it will be kind of improvised. Yeah, so also, you know, every now and again we might do another Red Alert 3 or Command and Conquer 3, just various things like that.
GR mods, for example, if we get replays for them as well, it's another option.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, of course, the energy drink reviews.
Oh yes, the energy drink reviews. That will certainly continue in full force. We'll probably have a couple of them for our the few but dedicated viewer base to my energy drink review videos. We'll probably have a couple more going back to the earlier ones, which were more of I wouldn't say scripted, but more of a well thought out energy drink review, where I take my time, I pour my energy drink into a nice Scotch glass, and I sip it and contemplate the energy drink over a period of about 24 hours.
Yeah, they're more skits.
Yes, we'll call them skits.
But they take a lot of time to write a funny script for.
Yeah. So we'll be going back to a couple more of them, because there are definitely some energy drinks that have come out recently that I would like to review in that format. The other big thing is, if you would like to send an energy drink package, that would be super cool.
Yeah, we're gonna get a PO box rather than giving out Blake's address all the time. So we're gonna be working on that. But just send us an email, Callum@generalsgentleman.com, which is the best contact email for anything. Yeah. If you do want to send us in, or just, you know, anything else you want to talk to us about. Yeah, for the record, YouTube private messages are really bad. The problem with YouTube private messages is you don't actually get a notification. Like you have no idea of knowing someone has sent you a message until like you check it, and there's like a whole bunch from months ago. So email or just comments, but like an email will get a lot more kind of attention and taken a bit more seriously than like a random comment. So that's what we have in mind for the future. Ultimately, just what you've been seeing for the past, say, month or so. Well, we're kind of going back and forwards, but back on the topic of one video per day. That doesn't necessarily mean one like cast per day. Lately, we've been doing a fair bit of series. So we've been, there's been one video, but that actually contains 3 or 4 replays of a 0-hour game or Company Heroes series. So whilst we're not going to do more than one video per day, hopefully we'll do more series and be able to squeeze in a bit longer videos and get kind of just more content out. That's it really for
last thing on the list.
The shirt store.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So back to the topic of money, I guess. Yay, everyone's favorite topic. Of course, even if you don't want to support us on Patreon directly, but you still want to support us in a way, or if you just want a cool shirt or a hoodie, you can of course buy these.
Wrap it.
Links are all in the description, but generalsgentleman.spreadshirt.com, you can get shirts, you can get a mug, you can get hoodies, you get a little bag, a bunch of things like that. And we have like a photo album on General Gentleman Facebook page. It's called Cool People in General Gentleman Shirts. So if you do, want to get the get your fame, we make no promise that it will grant you the attention and affection of the opposite sex, but it will, it'll make you. People will know you're good at RTS games.
Yeah, that's true. You'll also acquire General Gentleman swag points in there.
Yeah,
they're held pretty close to the chest. So
yeah. All right, so now I think with that, 20 minutes later, we can now talk about the Q&A, the questions, and there's a lot of them. So again, we are unapologetically making this a very long video under the assumption that people that don't care wouldn't really watch it to begin with, and people that do care would want to actually listen to all these questions. So some of these questions we kind of already mentioned in this video already, so we'll skip over those if we have. There's a couple of duplicates as well where it's kind of the same question. We'll skip over those. We didn't want to like over-analyze and kind of over-edit these questions, so we'll kind of just be improvising as we go down. So we'll start off here, a question by SuperJ42. Congrats, gents. 10,012 subs at the moment of this comment. That's going to be a huge milestone. Now, question number 1. How long have you two known each other? How did you meet originally? And what got you interested in shoutcasting as a duo?
I'll take the first two so I get an opportunity to talk. That'll be a big plus.
Good idea.
Right, so we've known each other since high school. Probably when I was a little newbie in I'm going to go to year 9, year 10, which for us is 17, 16, 15, probably 15 when I was 15.
You would be
sounds right.
14 in year 9, 15 in year 10.
Do you reckon it was year 9? I reckon it was year 9.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably year 9. So I would have been, 14 at the time, and I'm about to turn 21 in exactly one day. So
tomorrow, yeah.
I'll be turning 21, so that means we've known each other 7 years so far.
So I'm 2 years older. So to go into more detail, I used to live next to someone that was the same year group as Blake, and through this person who was also a gamer and who also played Generals. Did he get you into Generals?
He did. Yes. Yeah.
Dylan, what a mad dog.
Him and yourself.
Nice.
You Patriot Rushed me my first game.
Yeah. So basically, because we used to occasionally we would play games in like the school computers. Mainly it was Unreal Tournament 2004. I don't know if you played Call of Duty 1.
I played Call of Duty 1. We made sure that stayed alive after you left school as well. So,
yeah, the IT department. IT department. There wasn't an IT department by the end of it, but it was like the head of the arts department was in charge of IT. So there were a lot of like loopholes in the school's like IT security. So it was very easy to exploit and play games on them. And like our IT teacher, Miss Decker, was so bad that like we would actually learn more about the world playing Unreal Tournament 2004 than what we would like in her class. Like she was one of those ladies she's in her 60s. She had a degree in like the 80s and just didn't know anything. So yeah, there were a few classes we just didn't take seriously. And in lunch we'd play games. So basically, we were playing 0 Hour, and our friend Dylan was like a total noob, like he's total noob. And then I used to just like I would always rush him with all these cheesy tactics and stuff. And then I went to Patriot Rush Blake because I thought he was some scrub. And then he actually like deflected. He killed Mendoza, and I'm like, what is this? He killed Mendoza. And then I was like, man, maybe this guy has promise, man. Yeah. He didn't lose to my Patriot Rush. So basically a high school, TLDR, high school. How'd you originally meet? We went over that. What got you interested in shoutcasting as a duo? So I guess I'll start that by saying I always thought shoutcasting was cool. Like I remember I got really into StarCraft 2 when it came out, 2010. And like, you know, obviously I'd watched a lot of shoutcasting and I thought that was awesome. And I kind of actually tried it by myself, just like shoutcasting StarCraft 2. And like, it was super shitty. So I didn't really get anywhere with it. And then I eventually did like another video. Actually, here's a fun little story as well. Not really a long story, but the very, very, very first video on the channel, which is like my old crappy like name, Ownage Machine 0 rather than General's Gentleman. That's the URL for it. It was a StarCraft 2 video. And some people got really butthurt when I started casting StarCraft on the channel. They were like, "You sell out. Why are you casting this crappy game?" And it's like, bro, the first video was StarCraft, and then later on, another friend of ours called Adam, we actually we had an attempt at shoutcasting League of Legends. This is still like 2010. Yeah. That back when YouTube you couldn't have a video longer than 15 minutes, so it was like a 3-chunk segment. And then the same thing happened. We started casting League of Legends, and everyone was like, "You sell out. Why you cast this crappy game?" And it's like, we were doing this before we were doing Generals, for the record. But anyway. So I always liked shoutcasting, and I tried it, but it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't take off, and it wouldn't have if it wasn't for Mr. Archon Hawk.
Yo.
Billies. So you can answer that, I guess, now as well, if you want to have something to add to that.
Right. Damn, I have to say it myself. I was a total scrub casual at games, man.
Can you put that in writing for me,
Okay, I'm
please?
sorry. I'll lean a little bit closer. I was a massive scrub casual at video games. It was not good at all. Well, come on, man. We're still only half an hour into this video. I'm feeling the BM. I was not that great at 0 hour. I was playing with Callum, and I always, you know, I want to improve. I want to get better at video games. So Callum, the machine goes, okay, no worries. We'll look up a shoutcast of it, because, you know, obviously the shoutcast, they're gonna have analytics. They're gonna be able to tell you how to play the game well.
Especially that was right after, like, I was watching heaps of Day 9 and stuff, and I was like getting really into StarCraft. And with StarCraft, there was so much content. It was like the hype of where kind of esports and Twitch first kind of like, you know, and there was so much great content for learning. And yeah, we figured that, we should do the same. We'll look up some shoutcasts on YouTube. And we found there weren't really that many of them. There was only a couple that we could find, and we didn't think they were very good. So we thought that, like, oh wow, like we could do better than these guys. Like, I reckon we should try it. We could do better. And so that's essentially what happened. Is he came over. We got a couple of replays, and I remember the first replay. Like, I actually watched it in advance, and it was like it was semi-scripted. Like, I kind of made notes of what to say,
the major points in the game,
so we didn't miss things. And yeah, it ended up being a pretty horrible video, but we posted it on the gamereplays.org, who I was pretty active with at the time, and actually ended up getting like 1,000 views and getting a lot of traction and a lot of positive feedback, and that was really cool. And it's actually pretty surprising, because like the majority of people that post videos will get like 7 views on their friends on Facebook, and like that's it they'll get. So basically, it was because of gamereplays.org. The video, it did pretty well. We got some good feedback. People enjoyed it. And yeah, so we just stuck with it. We casted some more. We posted more videos, and we just kept getting more and more views, and we enjoyed it. We kept doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the story, isn't it? Was it Dackle vs. the Abyss? Was
that it? Dackle vs. the Abyss. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. But it was Dackle, GLA Stealth versus GLA Vanilla. It was actually Dackle vs. XCal. The Abyss was a Smurf. And,
right, that's true. Yeah,
we ended up recasting that game as, I think it was like our 1,000 sub special or something. So, yeah, that's basically it. Alright, do either of you do coding or design? Oh god, programming. Man.
I was never really into it. I actually did cybersecurity at uni for a while. Followed the similar course to the machine gave university, so it wasn't my thing. I thought coding was interesting, but no, I didn't really follow or keep up with it after I left uni. It wasn't really my thing.
I did a couple of IT certificates after high school where I did programming, but I was bad at it. nah, I hate coding. Design, I don't know what you really mean by that. Like, I guess 3D design. I also did some 3D design in TAFE, but I didn't stick with it. Are you interested in games primarily as intelligent, analytic players, or are you wanting to pursue game development in some fashion? Okay, that's an interesting question. And so I've been thinking about that. I mean, for me, the dream, like the dream is, like the dream is YouTube, right? Like casting. The dream is making an RTS game. Like, isn't that the dream?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the dream.
Making an RTS game. But
I'll give it to you.
I don't want to do game design. And like, if I was serious about, like, really wanting to make an RTS game, I would, like, stop doing YouTube, or at least not, like, full-time, or, like, you know, part-time. Get a degree in design, in programming or whatever. But I'm not going to do that. Like, that's not what I want to do. But, you know, maybe after like 5-10 years of making RTS of making RTS videos, of being well known in the community, among RTS developers and such, maybe someone along the lines will be like, hey, we're making like an RTS game, do you want to, like, you know, come be our RTS advisor or something? So yeah, that's what I'm really hoping for. I mean, obviously, or it could, you go like the crowdfunding route, but like, to make an RTS game, like, you would have to actually get artists, programmers, like designers, people that actually know, like project manager, people that actually know their shit, and like make an. You can't just go like, hey, give us $10,000, we'll make an RTS game. It's like, you have to actually know what you're doing. So making an RTS game would be awesome, but not for a long time, and you know, you would need funding, you would need a company, like, I don't know, we'll see, but yeah, that'd be cool. And that's because also what I'm, part of the reason why I enjoy doing the RTS discussion videos is I think it does kind of put us out there as like RTS experts in, like, if Relic turned around and be like, hey, do you want a job, like, you're doing QA testing or doing balance designing for our game or something, like, or yeah, like a balance designer, like, say if I was working like for an RTS company doing balance or something, like, that would be cool. But again, you would probably need to have a degree to do that, and I don't want to go to uni, but maybe in the long run. Okay, what else?
You're not gonna let me answer the question?
Oh, sorry.
Oh!
Go on.
Here we go. No, I've never really had any aspirations when it comes to game design. It's not my thing. I really love completely understanding a game and experiencing it through pro players. That's kind of the dream for me. It's like, I don't know whether I really want to be a pro player, but I enjoy seeing the game as they see the game. The biggest thing, probably the game that I understood the most was back in the day when we were casting League of Legends.
Oh, dude.
Just like, my game knowledge on that was just like, was insane. I would like to think almost at the level of LCS casters, but probably not quite. Just huge amounts of time investment into the game to understand how the professionals play at a really, really deep, complex level inside the game. That's what I really enjoy.
Blake almost got hired as a caster for Riot. He had like a trial cast in an interview, which is further than I got. I applied for the same thing. And Blake got like a trial cast / interview thing. So yeah, he got really into League of Legends. We did a lot of that a while ago. The reason why I didn't give you a chance to answer because I knew you'd say no. I guess that was
that's fair.
A bit unfair of me.
No, that follows.
I mean, like, making an RTS game and also being in the police force, a bit of a contradiction.
Look, I thought I'd answer because it kind of flows in well into the next question as well. So,
all right. Oh yeah. You said in the past that you prefer to cast games and you personally enjoy playing. That makes perfect sense. How does that impact your decision process around casting replays for upcoming releases? I need to make sense. Do you want to answer this while I make sense of it?
Yeah, so sure. So I guess we prefer to cast games that we play personally. It gives you a connection to the game. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, like what you're commentating on, if you don't actually enjoy the game, you're not going to be able to get into it on an analytical scale or on a personal scale, and you really have to be dedicated to the game. So when we get hype, when we're casting, we're actually getting hype. There is no fake keen here at General Sherman HQ. No fake keen. We're actually super into the game. So if I guess it's like anything, if you're not interested in it, like if you're not interested in a job, then you're not going to be good. You're not going to be dedicated to it. So you have to be into the game that you're commentating on. So yeah, I mean, our personal preferences definitely bend that way. And we like popular games, and some games that aren't ridiculously popular and don't have a huge player base, like Journals, for example. We still cast that because we really enjoy our 0 Hour. So that's mostly it's to do with the machine finds a good RTS game, gets really good at it, convinces me to play it, and then we start casting it.
Pretty much.
I kind of learn on the job, with the exception of that being League of Legends, which
was the opposite.
Yeah, which is the opposite, which is kind of my thing.
To be fair, I got you into that game.
You did get me into that game, and then
I think to add on to that, I mean, we're spending a lot of time answering these guys' questions. But these are actually really good questions. I think these are actually good discussion.
Certainly, yeah.
So, basically, I think you have to find the balance between like what works well, like what's a good idea for a channel. Like, obviously, as much as we love 0 Hour, like we kind of don't want to stay only casting 0 Hour forever. Like, if we only did 0 Hour, like I reckon our channel would probably be half the size of what it is now. Like, it's just you got to kind of embrace change and expand it and try and be clever in how you expand your content, like by making use of popular trending games. But like you have to balance that out with what do you actually want to and what do you actually enjoy doing, and that's what we're doing so far. There's been plenty of games that have come out and there's a lot of hype for that, and there's a lot of people that want to see the game, but it sucked, so we didn't do videos. Like Grey Goo or like Active Aggression, like those games, we would have got a lot of views making casts for those games, but I played them and I was like, I really don't like this game. I'm not gonna cast this. And I did like a review for Grey Goo. Same with like the most recent thing was 8-Bit Armies. I played that. I thought it was awful. I made a review of it. And we would have probably got a fair bit of views casting it, but like I wouldn't have enjoyed that. And that's kind of the important thing, because if you're not enjoying it, your casting is going to be awkward. You're not going to have the same level of genuine like excitement, and that's also the beauty of Patreon and crowdfunding. Going back to that is you don't have to like be fake. You don't have to like go to these. You don't necessarily need to get the most views to be successful. You just need to be consistent, provide genuine quality content on a frequent basis. So yes, we want to latch on to like popular things that are coming out, like Dawn of War 3, but the difference with that is like we actually like Dawn of War. We cast Dawn of War 2. So, and I think also, I don't know if that was really what he was asking, but I think another part of that question is like, in order to cast a game properly, like to be good at casting, you have to play it a lot. Because casting, a lot of it's about analysis. You have to like actually understand the game, to criticize players' actions, give predictions, explain the nuance of the game. And I think also a big part of casting and actually being well known in that casting community is you have to kind of get in there early, I guess. Like, say all of a sudden we were like, hey, we should cast StarCraft, and we actually like StarCraft. We've been playing it a lot lately, but there are so many other casters at StarCraft that are just way better than us, have been doing it for longer, and have better game knowledge. And like, even if we were to dedicate ourselves to StarCraft, just hypothetically, we wouldn't get anywhere because there's other people doing it for longer. Whereas if a game, like if we started casting StarCraft when it first came out, then you would have you'd have a good chance of getting pretty well known. So that's why whenever a new RTS game comes out, I'm really keen to get beta keys so I can like get in there really early. So then by the time the game is like actually released, we can do a video for it like really quickly. Like Deserts of Karak, for example. We did some videos for that really quickly. Magpie and I were like the very first people ever to do shoutcasts for that. That game was pretty good. It didn't really take off though for a few reasons, but it was a good game. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so you have to play a game a lot in order to cast it well, I guess. Or at this point, next question. Or at this point, do you plan to focus mainly on co? And we've answered that pretty much. Yeah. So okay, that's that guy's questions answered. Super J.
Good questions.
Yeah, good questions. Yeah. And the next ones will be much quicker than that. There is a fair bit of them though.
All right. So first one here. Who is your favorite 0 Hour player and why is it Rage? I'm not even
question.
mad. That's an accurate.
Question.
That's an accurate question from Simple Nick. That one is so. Look, I mean, I hate to be on point, but my favorite pair of Zero is Rage. I love Rage, man. Huge fan.
I would say I'm not claiming that Rage is the best.
Yeah.
Even though he's certainly top 3. He had a series recently versus Size, which he won. Apparently, Size didn't take it that seriously, and there's another best of 11 series between Rage and Size,
Find that.
which we'll be doing eventually. That'll be a great series to do. But I think with Rage is more active than Size. At least when we started casting, Size wasn't very active, so we've just casted more of Rage. But I think it's also just he provides the most entertaining replays. Whenever we cast Rage, he always excites us with great micro, great kind of unusual strategies. It's just interesting to watch, interesting to cast.
Yeah, he doesn't stick to the same strategy. He pulls something different. It's like he has a third arm out of his chest. So instead of having 2 sleeves, he has 3 sleeves to pull stuff out of. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we did a cast of Rage. It was versus Murder. I think it was 1.6 though, but he played Super Weapon General. Did not build a single Humvee. Yeah. Remember that game? It was just like Tomahawks and Missile Defenders and there were Patriots. Yeah, it was a great game. All right, so we'll try and go through these a bit quicker. But anyway, next question from Timp Sydney, who is probably the most active commenter. So we do appreciate your comments, Tim. Grats. Now the question, why are Aussies such bastards? That's all you, man.
I mean, it's a rough land we live in. The wildlife wants to kill us. We want to kill each other. We have to be tough. You have to show a stony face to the general public. We have to be pretty tough to exist here. So
but bastard is an affectionate term, isn't it?
Yeah, it is in Australia. Yeah, actually. So I guess it depends which country you go to. I mean,
same with another word which we won't say because it'll offend Americans.
It's most certainly a term of endearment in Australia, and not so much in other countries. You would get hit pretty hard for that. But
all right, Pierre Jabur. I heard you guys play chess. Would any of you like to challenge me someday?
Man, we need to keep our chess series going.
Yeah, I know. We haven't played chess in
so
a while.
Long. Yeah.
We don't claim that we play it actively, and we don't claim that we're good. I mean, maybe.
Well, we enjoy playing each other, which is good. So, yeah. I don't find I have very many even matches in my family, but playing Callum's awesome.
That's the thing, right? Yeah, but we have even games, but we have no comparison. Like, does that make us, are we good or are we bad? It's hard to say.
If you only play versus AI, are you good against players? That's
exactly. All right, next question. So send us an email if you're keen to play. We'll work something out maybe. Chess takes a lot of time to play though. It's a long game, so we make no guarantees. But anyway, Claymore Cannon. Are you going to do more zero-hour mods such as Rise of the Reds and Shockwave? Yes. Yes, we will. We'll certainly do more mods. We want to do some Contra eventually. Blake needs to play that game though, but yeah, it's fun. We want to do more Shockwave, but the problem is, it's come up before. We've said it before. It's hard to get good replays. Rise of the Reds are not too bad because it's actually pretty active, but Shockwave especially, Contra, yeah. So if you do have good replays where there's a lot of action, it's active, send those replays in, please. Have you played any of the June games? No, we are born. I'm born in '93. You're '95. Yeah. No.
Nah.
We are not old enough to play that. Okay, this is you, man. This is you.
All right. So from Tim Stack, how do I quick scope? Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to go into your Steam client. You want to right click on Counter-Strike Global Offensive, delete all files. You want to find Modern Warfare 3, download that, and then I mean you just go from there, dude. Like it should be pretty obvious. Just get in any game, and you should be right to quick scope.
Actually, another embarrassing fact. One of the very first videos, maybe number 5 video on the channel after some Tribes Ascent montages, was a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 montage. So check that out.
There were some quick scopes in there.
When you go on YouTube, you can just go videos, search by oldest, and you can look at the old embarrassing stuff. All right, what is the most OP unit in KOTU right now? We were actually discussing this earlier. Mine, I think, is the T-70. It's so cheap. 200 manpower is far too cheap when you compare it to the other light vehicles. The damage it has, it wipes squads so easily. I would love to see that unit get a bit of a nerf or a bit of a rework.
Definitely needs one. So mine for retail, mines.
Yes.
Just mines. If just RIP all of the one-shotted squads over the course of Company of Heroes 2 history. Even just door mines. I mean, round corner mines, Just mines in general, man. It's just...
I don't want to hear it, Blake.
It's not a thing I want to talk about.
S-mine.
S-mines, God.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to go with mines. Mines are my thing.
But fortunately, they are being fixed in the latest patch.
Certainly.
So they won't be as gimmicky. They won't wipe squads because they don't have enough damage to kill models. So a lot of the problems are being fixed in the preview mod, which will be coming soon, which is pretty awesome. So... we didn't read the names out. From Do Not Poopy Your Pants.
Yeah.
Nice name. From Gabriel Fernandez. Why would you not, by whichever devious reason, not cast a billion Red Alert 3 vids? Double negative, though. Double negative, I think. Anyway. Well, I think the main reason is Blake didn't really play much Red Alert 3.
Nah, not my thing.
We did a couple of casts, but he didn't really know what he was talking about, and that's fine. I might do some more solo casts with that game if I get some time, because that's going to happen a bit, is where it's kind of like I'm free and I'm keen to cast, but Blake is like busy doing things, so I'll just cast solo. Like, I don't enjoy solo casting. I don't think they turn out as well as a duo cast. I don't enjoy them as much, but they're better than nothing, and sometimes I'm just really keen to cast, so like, yeah, I'll just cast a solo video. So eventually, but not a very consistent focus. All right, the next question.
That's all you.
Is, oh, me. All right, from Khalil Karim. How often do you guys get laid? Well, you may remember, I mean, I made a video with one of my girlfriends at the time about Rise of Nations, so that speaks for itself. And today, I was chatting up a girl in IGA about League of Legends, so...
Oh. And he doesn't even like that game. I mean, that's the level we're talking about.
Even though I have a Teemo statue.
Sometimes it just gets in the way. We have to go out somewhere before shoutcasting. It's just Callum's hitting on so many girls are coming after the machine here that I just have to hurry him along. It's like, sorry ladies, get the phone number later. We've got to do some shoutcasting. So look, when we're shoutcasters, yeah, it happens. I mean,
we're essentially rock
obvious.
stars.
I mean, yeah, essentially. I mean, look, we like expect to see my face on a can of V any day now. They should sponsor me.
All right. George Schnell. Why use the anti-spoiler screen? It's pretty obvious when a game is going to end, and it's kind of annoying clicking on a video that you can watch for 45 minutes and then it's over in 20. Okay, so the thing is with this, it's one of those things that not everyone is going to like it. Ultimately, when I do editing and stuff like that, I base the videos around what I would enjoy to watch. And when I watch esports, not as often as I used to, but like say when I would watch like a StarCraft cast or a Smite cast, I got really into watching Smite casts when we were casting that. I like having not knowing when the video is when the game's going to end, and the vast majority of our viewers do as well. We always get comments all the time saying, man, the anti-spoiler screen is awesome. So what it actually means is it doesn't give away the ending of a game. You say it's pretty obvious when a game is going to end. Not always though. Say that there's a really big push at 15 minutes into the game and the video length is 16 minutes. That means that you can tell, okay, the person pushing, the person that's about to have this big engagement is obviously going to win. He's going to win this game. And so that kind of ruins any level of excitement or tension, because you know what's going to happen by looking at the state of the game and comparing it to the video length. However, if the video length is arbitrary, if it's a 40-minute length and you know it's arbitrary and you have no idea, you see this push and you go, hang on, is he going to end this game now? Is he going to come back? And it makes a comeback really unexpected and really exciting. And on the flip side, if there's a really big engagement 15 minutes in and you know the video goes for 30 minutes, you can obviously tell that the push isn't going to succeed. So essentially it makes it so you don't know what to expect. You're always kind of you don't know when the game is going to end until it's going to end. I mean, that's not always the case, though. Sometimes it is pretty predictable, but a lot of the time it's not, and I think it gives a better experience, and whilst you don't like it, I'm afraid most people do like it. We did a survey, definitely most people liked it, and even myself, I like it. I'm assuming...
Yeah, I like it. I think it's great. I wish more people did it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, there are pro esports YouTube channels that don't do it. I'm just like, man, you guys should really do this. It's one of my favorite parts about the Smite videos that I was watching. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
you inadvertently see the length of the video anyway when you're clicking on it, or when you're full screening it, or if there isn't an anti-spoiler screen, you just inadvertently see it. You can't dodge away from that. Plus, in the side of the problem, it's like, you know, it's clicking on a video, you think you can watch for 45 minutes, then it's over in 20. You can use your mouse and scroll over the search bar, and you can get the screen grab of that point in the video. So it's pretty obvious to tell when the anti-spoiler screen starts, if you really want to know how long the video is, how long you have to schedule for.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so it's obvious because the spoiler screen is black and white. The footage is always colored, so you can just scroll your mouse, as you said. You can find it out very quickly. All right, next question is actually not a question, that's a response. Okay, from Tiny Pixel OCD Attack. What kind of work do you guys do besides making awesome content? We did kind of explain that one.
Yeah, we did cover that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We say what we used to do. So, yeah, that's it. We won't respond to that. And another question from the same person. Have you ever thought about making challenges such as the fastest win with no tanks, terrorists only, play custom maps, or even modded? Yes, we have. So... We did do the Generals Challenge, the Generals Challenge. I don't know if you mean in terms of us playing or us casting. I mean, the problem with casting challenges like that is you have to get replays. So you have to kind of get some players and be like, hey guys, can you only play with terrorists? And it's a bit hard to organize that. For ourselves though, and something that we can certainly look into the future is fun little gimmicky like challenges like that. It's a possibility.
The last one was a lot of fun, so yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time we had like a Helix micro battle.
Yeah, that was great. I do remember that.
We didn't end up posting it because it was kind of a weird video, but it was fun to play. That's kind of the great thing about now is like doing YouTube full time is we have more time to experiment with different types of videos without having to worry about like maintaining a video. Like running out of time, we do have the time to kind of do more stuff like that. But we'll certainly be doing more of the Generals Challenges. That video did really well. People enjoyed that, and they're fun to do. All right, from Kale Jin Hilden 1. Name the 3 things that you dislike the most about 0 Hour and or casting in general.
Stop the game. Things I dislike the most. The machine BMing me has got to be at the top of that list.
You're losing to me?
It hurts me deep inside my heart. I don't know, that's a hard one. I really enjoy casting. I probably the late nights, the really the dodgy stream times.
But that's not casting. So, that's our GMT +8 time zone.
Okay.
Yeah, we occasionally do like a late night stream of like a relic tournament, but that's our time zone. That's not really like castings.
Yeah,
that is a problem. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's hard to say something I dislike about casting though. So,
I mean, I would. I mean, not casting. But YouTubing, the upload times suck. Yeah. That's, the internet's fault though. And the rendering times suck, but like whatever. Not a big deal. Like I actually, some games I can play while rendering. Like old games, like Rise of Nations, Age of Mythology. Those games I can play while my CPU is like 99% rendering and it runs fine. So yeah, not a lot to comment on that. But for things I don't like about 0 Hour, I have kind of explained this in one of my videos called Why 0 Hour is Awesome, where I explain things I don't like about it, but mainly I think the sub-faction design sucks in terms of the concept of design where when they make the sub-factions, they remove units out, where they, like China Tank, don't get nuke cannons, USA Air Force, don't get Crusaders. I think that's just a really bad approach to sub-faction design because it limits player options and therefore makes matchups repetitive. I feel like Shockwave has a much better approach, or Contra, where you still get access to those units. They're maybe not as strong, but you still have them. Because then it's very exploitable. If you just spam defenses as tank general, you can't build artillery. It's not very fun. Or
cost changes as well, which is also implemented to some degree in the 0 Hour sub-faction design. That's another nice way. I like cost changes. So
I think there are better ways to go about it. I mean, I could rant about this a lot, and I won't. But effectively, I think rather than nerfing and buffing, the best way to do sub-factions, I think this is a question later on, is you get a unit and you change the interaction. Such as like the China Nuke Battle Master, it has its own different interaction and micro associated with that. And then it's not necessarily stronger or weaker, but it's just a different unit that you have to control differently. And Company Heroes is full of examples like that with asymmetric design, which I've done a video about asymmetric design. We should watch that as well. What makes RTS games fun? Asymmetry. Other thing about Zero Hour, it's very unbalanced. Humvee's OP. Like they certainly could have designed the factions to have more player variety. There's a lot of micro, so it's fun to watch and to cast, obviously, but there isn't the strategic diversity that you see in other RTS games. And Company Heroes is kind of the same, but if you look at something more like StarCraft, that's much better balanced, you see a lot more variation in strategies. And as a caster, that's fun to see. And one of our favorite types of games that we really enjoy casting is those games where you do see different strategies, different units that are very underutilized, which is part of why we enjoy casting different maps. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, so Tristan Van Newland, whatever. Would you guys ever want to battle out with generals and challenges that your viewers pick? Yeah, so I think we covered that before. Yeah, I mean, it's something we could do. As a viewer picks, I mean, if you have suggestions, by all means, of some of your favorite or the more difficult generals challenges, I mean, I'm sure we'd have a think about that and we'll have a look into them. Might be nice.
Yeah, we did Super Weapon General. No,
we did.
Yeah, as it was tank. Yeah, that was hard. We'll do more later on. I mean, the general challenges, they're all pretty fun. We'll do. I mean, the problem with versing each other is like I always beat him, so they don't most of the time. So they don't provide the best videos.
Yeah.
But general
playing 1v1.
General's challenges
right.
we'll do more of.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you, boy. From that comment was from Tristan Van Newlandy.
Yeah.
You did. Sorry. Okay. So next question from Kristen Kirkov. I love you, boys, and I love CNC generals. What is your favorite unit in Zero Hour? Don't say Nuke Migs. How'd you come up with the name, gentlemen? I said my unit is Nuke Battle Master just because it's fun to micro because you can backfire your micro, it can blow up on yourself. Your opponent can retarget it. It creates a lot of interesting variation. Yours?
$1,000 AOs. $1,000 AOs. $1,000 attack outpost. Because I don't have to do any of the things that Machine mentions. I just move them across the map and win games. No, I do really enjoy China infantry. So attack outposts are my jam, my thing. I like mixing in minigunners with my tank hunters.
We know.
Oh, I'm sure you know Machine. I like evac micro. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I enjoy the kiting potential of attack outposts. I'm a huge fan of that unit. That's actually one of the reasons that I love China infantry so much. We should, even 1.4.
We should flip that question. What's your least favorite unit in generals?
1.4 rock bees.
Yeah, they're pretty OP.
Yeah.
I mean, you know mine, Blake. You know mine.
Do I know
Take
yours?
a guess. Take a guess.
Hang on.
You know what it is.
I'm gonna think about it.
You know what it is, Blake.
Your least favorite unit.
Yeah. It's Super Lotus.
Oh, buddy, don't hate on the hack speed.
The hack speed, man. It's like your building's being captured. That's fine. I'll go sell it. Your building's been captured. Like what?
What?
It captures so fast.
Yeah.
You have to sell it like instantly. Like regular Lotus compared to Super Lotus, there's a pretty big difference in cap speed.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's actually a big difference.
All right.
Another reason that I play China infantry.
All right. Next question. Imaginary number. When will you finally make those shoutcasts with Blake having his shirt off?
I mean, eventually. We can do that. I've been hitting the gym. You know, I ordinarily only do 2 hours of martial arts training a day in addition to my daily run and bike ride. But I'm also adding like an hour and a half to 2 hours of gym on top of the 2 hours of martial arts that I do. So, you know, eventually, at some point.
All right. From Nicholas Evans, what made you decide to make CNC videos mostly and not join on the Play Everything bandwagon? Well, we pretty much covered that. It was mainly because there was a lack of content for CNC, and yeah, we just enjoy casting it the most, and we just cast what we enjoy casting, and there's a certain appeal to having those niche RTS games that no one else really covers. The Firestarter Wino War game, I don't know. I bought it. I bought the latest one. I haven't played it yet. I mean, I'll probably play it eventually.
No, I've never gotten into the series personally.
Yeah, neither did I.
Just not my thing. I have limited playtime. The machine wants me to play so many games. I really do have to pick and choose.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
so from Lars here, any word on when the new balance patch will be deployed for Code 2? It looks really promising. It does indeed. Yeah, mid-June? Yeah.
Yep, mid-June.
Cool. And it does indeed look very promising.
We casted that a few times. It's pretty great. Yeah. All right, from Brand Mans. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, what do you think is the future of the CNC franchise, and how should EA make up for CNC4? This one has come up a few times. Yeah. This may be a long answer, but it's going to come up a few times. All right, so... oh, sorry, we didn't answer someone else's question. It's coming up later, though, so we'll just repeat it there. But that was why the name, General Gentlemen. First of all, yeah, so the future of the CNC franchise. Okay, so I think CNC is RIP. I think it is... Game. I think it is far too naive to be like, oh, EA will make a new CNC. We actually kind of covered this in our discussion when CNC Generals 2, or Command and Conquer, was cancelled. From EA's perspective, their last like 3 games have flopped. So I mean, obviously Generals 2 flopped, CNC 4 flopped. I think before that it was Red Alert 3, which did okay. But then before that it was Tiberium, the FPS game, and that was cancelled for like no reason. So from EA's monetary perspective, CNC hasn't done well for them. I mean, I guess apart from whatever that online browser-based game is called, like Tiberian Alliance, I think it's called.
Yeah,
but that's like not really a CNC game. It's like not RTS. It's like a turn-based online browser thing. So I think if we are going to get a new CNC, it'll probably be just a generic RTS with no real CNC roots. Because that's exactly what Generals 2 was like. Because I played it in Alpha. I think you played it as well.
Yeah, I played it.
We both played Generals 2 Alpha, and we did a couple of casts on it. Oh, it was me and Cybert, I think.
Yeah, you did the cast, I did the play.
Yeah, and Generals 2, it was really frustrating because it was so heavily marketed as it's the return of Command and Conquer. We're going back to the roots. We're bringing back the traditional RTS Command and Conquer experience because Command and Conquer, yeah, awesome. And they played it, and it was just a shitty StarCraft 2 clone.
Yeah. And
we like StarCraft. Like, it's a great game, but it was just a shitty StarCraft clone. It had mechanics it had ramps like in StarCraft. It had oil was practically Vespene gas. Angry mobs had stimulant packs. It was so bad, and it didn't have any of the reasons that made StarCraft good. And so you could tell that the people making that game honestly did not understand Command and Conquer. It was just a generic RTS where they were just like, what's the most successful RTS? StarCraft 2. How do we copy that? So I think even if there's a new CNC, because remember when Generals 2 was cancelled and Victory Games, the dev studio, I still had some of the core EA LA team, people that worked on CNC 3, for example. They fired them all. Like, they're not going to make a new CNC. If they were going to make a new CNC game, which they said they would, they wouldn't have fired every single CNC dev in their entire studio. So, there may be a CNC game, but it's probably going to suck balls. Don't hold your breath. But I think there's a lot of people and a lot of communities that are really keen for a spiritual successor. And I think, and there's been a lot of companies promising that, like Petroglyph, like, yeah, Grey Goo. They're like, it's made by Petroglyph. And then there was Active Aggression. A lot of companies have tried to use that hype. It's inspired by Command and Conquer, or 8-bit armies especially, but they just don't deliver. And I think a lot of the problem is that they copy, like when they say Command and Conquer, that they copy like the original Tiberian Dawn, Tiberian Sun kind of mechanics, which at the time were revolutionary and were fun, but don't hold up to modern day standards for a few reasons. So, like, because when I think of Command and Conquer, I think of nuanced unit control. I think of interesting, quirky units. I think of aggression, fast-paced combat, like Generals, CNC 3, Red Alert 3. Those are my favorite CNC games. The old games were great at their time, and they still are fun for nostalgia reasons. And the kind of the remakes of those games, Open RA and such, they do modernize them. They add in a more fleshed out counter system. They add in things like veterancy, and they're dated games, and companies that try and copy that, like 8-bit armies, just don't hold up. So yeah, maybe we'll have a a company that actually really did enjoy Generals, or just a couple of indie devs, and make a sequel. The problem with the RTS is probably the hardest genre, well, second hardest genre, third hardest genre, apart from MOBAs and MMOs, for indie devs to make a game.
Yeah.
Indie devs making MMO, don't do it, don't do it.
Man.
RTS games, I think need a lot of... It's hard for indies because they're hard to make. You know, like a platform, anyone can make a platformer. So maybe, I know like the guys at SWRnet, the modders behind Rise of the Reds and Shockwave, like they're gonna actually start making proper games. They're not gonna start with RTS per se. I don't know if this is, I should say this, but they eventually plan on hopefully one day making an RTS game, and I would look forward to that. Those guys, they understand CNC well enough. And yeah, so maybe you'll have indies, or you'll have another company that make a spiritual successor that plays out like a Generals, but don't abandon all hope for EA, abandon all hope for the brand CNC, and that's fine, you know. I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, so...
Nice. I can just play FIFA 2017. So, next question from Author Raptor. Why the General's Gentleman? I wish I had a really in-depth, intense, personal response for you, but I'm pretty sure we came up with that name in like half an hour.
Less than that.
Yeah.
We were just talking on
15
Facebook.
minutes?
We were just like, hey, we should have actually found the chat. It would have been a long time ago. We were like, yeah, we should make videos. What about a cool name? And I was just thinking of alliteration. Like, if you're not English native speaker, alliteration is like the same sound in two words. Like, you know, Blake, boy, basket. Alliteration is like Generals. And I was thinking of like Generals, gentlemen, and it just
clicked. Yeah.
And then I said that, and you were like, yeah, cool name.
Yeah, sweet.
It is a really cool name.
Yeah, it is.
And
glad we went with that.
The great thing about the name as well is it's applicable to other RTS games, because it was obviously like Command and Conquer Generals, gentlemen, but Generals in terms of just like a military general. So it makes sense for the context of Company of Heroes or Rise of Nations. So it's a good name for RTS, and it's catchy, memorable. It sounds cool. I don't know. I don't know if the logo will stay. And there might be eventually a different branding. Like someone mentioned the idea of making kind of a more like military themed, kind of having like a general and have a khaki or something. Like that'd be cool. But I don't know. A rebrand might be a cool idea.
Could be a possibility. I'm a big fan of this, but you know,
it looks nice.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
like it's not a logo. It's text. You want to have a logo that
That's
you can.
true. Yeah.
That you can expand into, and it doesn't like this doesn't in any way represent like RTS. Or,
I forgot about the best thing to do with General Gentlemen. We can put the prefix GG at the start of our names. Easily one of the best things about the brand.
All right. Okay. The next question you can answer, because you'll have a lot more to say than what I do.
Okay. Yep. No worries. Do you want to go?
I'll answer this one. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
The Q&A. So when will we see the General's Gentleman 0-hour tournament? Okay, so that we will do our own tournament when no one else is. And at the moment, there are a lot of tournaments for 0-hour, and actually a lot more now that the servers went down. And it just, like, why would we run our own tournaments when other people run them and we just cast their replays? I don't see how our tournament would be any better than someone else running a tournament, and it just means we don't have to worry about the difficulties and the stressfulness of running a tournament, and we can cast the replays. Like, that's what we want to do, is cast our own replays. Cast replays more so than run tournaments. However, I would add to that, though, is... like, I would love to do tournaments if it's something specific. Like, say it's like, hey, we'll do a Contra tournament or something like that, or if it's a gimmicky thing like 0-hour tournament, terrorists only, and going back to Patreon, like when we get a certain level where we're actually getting enough that I don't have to kind of worry about like food and bills and rent, and we're actually getting a fair bit of, well, I am getting a fair bit of spare money from that, you know, then maybe we'll look towards like actually putting prize pools forward. You know, we'll do, because like if there's actually prize, like it'd be really easy to go, hey Rage, hey Size, you should have a best of 11 series only building terrorists. If we say, yeah, if you win, you $50, you get some money. But like, if we just ask them nicely, they probably won't. They'll be like, yeah, no thanks. But if we say, hey, here's a little tournament with $50 as a prize pool, then people will be like, yeah, all right, cool. So, yeah, maybe we'll do tournaments if there's a fun, unique, quirky idea, and also like if we have the funding to do so. I mean, like, you don't have to have a big tournament prize pool. Just a little bit, just to incentivize people. Yeah. Okay. So next question.
Okay, I might as well start this one off while the Mashinu Senpai hides his face in shame. From Tiny Fish, what do you guys do when you're not on the computer, and what will you be doing in 10 years from now? Which is actually a pretty good question. Probably the second part, unless the first part. I guess I'm pretty active off the computer. I mean, I always...
Flex, Blake.
Flex the muscles. Flex. There we go. Okay. The machine can barely wrap his hands around them, so... Kappa Pride. So... Yeah, so when I'm off the computer, right, so I'm a pretty dedicated martial artist, so normally like 5 days a week, 2 hours a day doing martial arts, and if I'm not doing that, like if I do like an hour of running a day, and like, at the moment an hour and a half of gym a day.
You do an hour of running?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh, well, I guess it depends, to be fair, because I do a lot of stretching as well, so probably a half an hour of actual running would be more accurate. Probably half an hour of actual running and then just stretching and stuff like that. But yeah, so I like my fitness. That's the thing I enjoy, and as we said earlier, I do plan on joining the police force, so that's probably what I'll be doing in 10 years. At least that's the plan. I'll be doing that, and hopefully we'll still be casting. We have some longevity as casters, and I think that's pretty fantastic that there are casters out there. You can cast indefinitely, I would hope. So you have a pretty short career as, say, a professional gamer, where you have a set amount of time where you can do it. I think being a shoutcaster, I'd like to do that for a while. So. On
the topic, I think actually our content gives us longevity.
Yeah.
Because our content isn't like a trend, it isn't a phase. We don't have to worry about, oh, but what if the game stops being pop? It already is, you know? There's something like where if you were a League of Legends or a Dota or a Counter-Strike caster, you might have to worry about, well, what happens in 5 years if the game dies down? People won't watch it anymore. But with like 0 Hour, and those old sort of games, they already have, and yet people still do watch us. So I think, you know, in 5-10 years time, like, why couldn't we still be casting 0 Hour? People watch 0 Hour content now. It's a 13-year-old game. Yeah. So yeah, I interjected there. Is that it? What do you have?
Oh no, you can do a response to that question now. I think Machine.
Also, Blake has like a lot of friends that he does manually things, like
that's true.
Like driving cars and. Yeah, what do I do when I'm not on the computer? I don't do much else, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't say that, like, gaming is all that I do, but, I mean, it's, like, I obviously I play games, I make videos, I do a lot of writing, and it's pretty much all about gaming, like writing reviews and such, which I want to do more of, but it's still, like, on the computer. I like watching a lot of YouTube videos. I really like science. I'm really into science. I love...
Your hobby could be watching Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, Carl Sagan, so dreamy.
Yeah.
I've been watching a little Lawrence Krauss lately. He's pretty boss. Yeah, so I love learning about like the universe, learning about cosmology, learning about like physics. Like, not that I study them, I just like enjoy casually watching. I don't know. What else do I do? I drink alcohol sometimes.
Yeah, he does occasionally. I think you're a mad dog, Machine. Yeah, you're a bit of a mad dog.
But yeah, on a serious note, I mean, gaming is for various reasons. Oh, we actually had a funny response to that we're supposed to say.
Did we?
Yeah. What do you guys do when you're not on the computer? Wish we were on the computer. Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, I do a bunch of things, but they pretty much all involve the internet and the computer somehow. But yeah, you know, I guess that's why, like, if you're gonna do YouTube, you have to be pretty hardcore about it. Yeah. Like, it's not something that you can kind of casually do if you want to actually do it full time. So.
Cool. I'm also in an addiction transference period. I like to refer to it as, away from League of Legends and into StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
Thanks to the machine.
Yeah, this will come up later, so we'll ignore that for now.
All
right, so
doesn't come up later. That sounds good. All right.
Did you watch from Hersey Vodor? Did you watch The Water Diviner? So that, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Diviner. That's a World War I movie about Australia with Russell Crowe. He told me to watch that ages ago. I forgot to. I should watch that though. I do like war movies a lot. I mean, been watching a fair bit of the Great War YouTube channel. It's pretty interesting. But I'll watch that, Hersey. I'm sorry. Matt James, who would win in an arm wrestle? The Machine. There's not even a surface.
You want to get a surface? Or do you want to
no,
just,
like, I'll
probably not
concede
do
this
that?
one. I'll
concede it?
concede.
Alright, that's probably a safe option.
Okay, let's rephrase that. So, who would win in an arm wrestle? The Machine or Archon Hawk's little pinky? I don't know, man. We're pretty close.
I reckon you could take my pinky.
Yeah,
I reckon you could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, okay.
Why is your hair... Okay, this is to me.
Okay.
By How to Dimmy. Why is your hair black and your beard red? It's like ginger. I don't know.
Genetics.
Genetics, man.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. From Retro Game On, does a game of Subcom a day keep the noobish skills away?
Okay, so that's a bit of a joke question. Also, a big shout out to my friend Brendan. Our friend Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, I know the guy. I'd like to think we're semi-friends. So
Wow, that was...
it's been a while since I've seen him, let's be honest.
That was a bit harsh.
When was the last time I saw...
Like your friend? Yeah,
Brendan.
I know him.
Yeah. He's a dude I know.
He has a great channel for retro games. He does a lot of reviews for old console games. If you like retro games, check his channel out, Retro Game On. So does a game of Subcom a day keep the noobish skills away? Yes. If you practice RTS every day, if you like play it all the time, you will improve. You will get your macro up, get your micro up. Yeah. Ever going to present the world to Newfie Noob Slayer? No.
Okay.
Newfie Noob Slayer was a rather embarrassing video that myself and this friend Brendan made in high school that involved Blake.
I was in
it. We have a photo posted
we were best
of
friends.
us.
Yeah.
It was kind of like and I wouldn't. It was heavily inspired by Puronage.
Yeah.
I kind of put on the stupid voice and pretended to be a pro gamer called Newfie.
I still watch that every 6 months.
Sorry, on my pro skills. No one is watching that.
Bro, I actually watch that every 6 months and comment on it to bring it back up in your timeline. I was like, no, dude, it's awesome. I really love Newfie Noob Slayer. I'm a big fan. I seriously enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
All right, Unknowingly Derpy, what was your favorite match to play into cast?
Favorite match to play into cast? Favorite match? I mean, I guess... I don't know. Tough question, actually. I really have to think about that.
Okay, your favorite... I'll answer this for you. Your favorite one to play was when you beat me for the first time.
That is right. No,
Zero.
fantastic. Yeah. Did we end up uploading a video of that with me screaming? Or
that was the second time you beat me.
The second time I beat you. Yeah.
And to think that you got more keen the first time you beat me. And then, there's a video where he beats me in 0 hour, the second time ever.
Yeah.
He goes,
it was a big moment for me.
I might put on the screen if I remember.
When I realized I was going to win, it was just,
I'd say that I'd put an annotation on the screen, but I'd probably forget it's a long video. Yeah. So it's just like Ownage Machine versus Archon Hawk, Infantry versus USA or something. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. He didn't know where I was recording it either. Okay, to cast, I would say it was like Pudding Bag versus Jezelin or Loveness. I can't remember one of those players. So this was like the very first time that we did like a Relic stream. We were like invited by Relic to do a shoutcast. It was on their Twitch channel, and it was kind of like to represent Company of Heroes. It was part of this tournament, but it was kind of the first stream that we did, but with Relic's endorsing, if that makes sense. But what that also meant, because is that we had a lot of viewers for that. There was an in-game like notification that said, "Hey, tune in to this stream casted by gentlemen at this time." I don't remember what the numbers were, but it would have been, say 300 or 400. And that was the first time we did a big stream. And for me, like, I remember, like, I was kind of nervous. Because we've done, like, plenty of streams. We used to stream League of Legends every week. Every Sunday we would do League of Legends stream. But we had, like, Australia, we had, like, what, like 40 viewers?
No, we got up in the hundreds.
Did we?
Yeah. Definitely got up in the hundreds, I think. But and that was considerably less than ESL. So,
it was fun doing that. And it's kind of crazy thing that we did that stream almost for a year. But, yeah, I mean, because it was a big stream, and, like, it's kind of our first time, like, reaching a big audience in a live stream sense. So it was something new and exciting, and it was a really cool match. It was like 10 conscript spam. So yeah, what about you?
I guess it's a toss-up for me. Probably a good made-up moment would have been casting. I really enjoyed casting the Go for LOL League of Legends because, you know, I was super in League of Legends was my jam back in the day. So probably there, I don't know a game in particular, I can't remember, but it would have been pro players played in that tournament. Like really, that was pretty much the second tier of games inside of Australia, at least at the time, just one step below the now OPL.
What about casting like RFLAN and stuff?
Oceanic Pro League. That's another one as well. I'm going to go over a couple. So that's definitely one of mine. That would have been casting pro players. Actually, pro players who play on stream, professionals.
I casted with Minky Whale.
Straight, you did.
With Minky Whale on OC Weekly. That was cool.
That was cool.
He was like
Dude,
one of the...
You casted on stage at Supernova,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Oh, no, my micro... I forgot about that. I casted on stage in front of, like, what, 100 people for League of Legends.
A few hundred people, man. Come on, give yourself
some
credit.
So it wasn't like the actual tournament.
Yeah.
Riot came to Supernova. They had like the big finals. But then after that, they just had like random people from the crowd casting or playing like on stage. And then there was like the professional caster, Pastry Time. And they were like, all right, who wants to cast? And then I got like super keen. I was like, oh my god. And they picked some like random dude who was so awkward. It was obviously like his first time casting. And that's fine. But like when your first time casting is in front of people live on a stage, it's like really awkward. And then that happened again. And I was going ape shit, man. It was going crazy. And it was actually autofocus. It was really crazy because I was like kind of known because like we were casting a lot of local events, like LAN events. And we were casting League of Legends for the local tournaments. Like we would bring our PC and our setup like at the venue, and that was really fun because the atmosphere of a live LAN event, like the dream, not the dream, but the dream would be to cast like a Company of Heroes or a 0-hour tournament on stage in a studio in front of a live audience. Man, that'd be so cool.
That'd be mint.
We did it with League of Legends. It wasn't really like a studio. It was just, you know, a LAN center or whatever. And yeah, and then basically because of that, we were quite well known. And then like when he asked the second time, who wants to cast with me up on stage? And I was like going ape shit. And like all these people were like, holy shit, man. It's like the machine of the General's Gentlemen. So everyone kind of just like, I was in the back of the crowd and then I kind of just got nudged to the very front of the crowd. And then I was like, yeah. And then the guy picked me. And then, yeah, it was super fun. It was like cameras and shit and like casting like with a pro. And it was just like random people from the crowd playing, but it was so fun, and like I got really into it because the thing is with the casting is like when you're in the right mindset, you get keen. You have to be in the right mindset for it, and that's why casting live, whether it's like a live stream or whether it's at an event in person, it makes you cast better. I mean, the same reason why I enjoy co-casting rather than casting over like Skype or by myself. And then to be in that situation, I was nervous at first, but you know, getting through it, I got really keen, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it. You know, the Pastry Time, the pro casters said I did really well, and then after that, there was like an after party thing, and then like I was talking to a bunch of the Riot like staff, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you did really well, good stuff." So that was a really cool experience.
I didn't get up.
No,
out of non-bias, he considered it. You can see him looking, and he's like, "Nah." But because we were both wearing our General Gentleman shirts at the time, I think it would have looked a bit bad if you just picked us twice. But you can see you regretted it because I think someone went up and casted after.
It was
just so awkward. You can just see Paige was just like, "Oh man."
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, it was mistake not picking an actual
This guy wasn't saying anything.
Yeah.
He was like casting by himself, and he was like, "So, what do you think of this thing?" And he was like, "Yeah, okay, I think it's alright because I'll do this." And he was like, "Cool." And then he would do like all this really hype casting, and then he'd be like, "So who's your favorite character?" Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah, and he would have given the pro meta, man. Alcohol would have been like, your team comp is just, yeah.
He probably would have quit, but no, that guy's actually a mad dog. Pastry actually got over in the US now.
Yeah, so he was supposed to do it ages ago, but he had problems with a visa.
Yeah, so big ups to that guy for actually getting there, like hyping the Australian scene. So it's a pretty big achievement getting over there to cast. So
all right, so.
And yeah, I wanted to finish mine, if that's all right.
Oh, sorry.
This has been a long one, but yeah. So that was another big one. Like casting pro players was great. Also RF LAN, which is the biggest LAN in Australia. It is the biggest one, not only in our state, in the entire country. I think at the moment it's up to like 700 people on average, 720.
Oh yeah,
on average,
it's huge, man. The tickets sell out in like 3 hours.
3 hours,
now.
yeah,
it's
per
nuts.
LAN. And it's at one of our universities in a gym that is ordinarily about the size of like a few basketball courts. It's actually a stadium for basketball. So that was really hype because we got up on the elevated thing and we actually casted a huge LAN event, and obviously it wasn't necessarily in front of a crowd because everyone's busy gaming, but it was in front of a bunch of people.
You still have the
atmosphere. Which is still cool. The atmosphere was definitely still there, and that was super hype as well.
And then also like you can talk to the players afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. You
get to talk about the strats and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's I mean,
live casting is just brilliant.
Yeah. All right. So next question is from our resident troll and/or like shit poster, Jono Marshall.
Hey.
Why do you guys wear hoodies in Oz? Be careful what you wish for, Blake. Remember what happened last time.
Get some practice and I can take him, man. I can take him. I promise I'll be able to pack next game, Jono. You be careful.
Why do you guys wear hoodies in Oz? It's hot over there.
We have fluctuating temperatures.
Yeah,
man.
It's winter and it's cold for us.
Yeah.
But if you were to get a person from England here, they would probably like dehydrate. Yeah.
It gets very hot and decently cold as well. I suppose it depends on the region, but at least where I am and partly where the machine is as well. So we've got Perth, which is in Western Australia and it's on the coast. But around Perth are a range of I wouldn't really call them mountains. I guess the Perth Hills area. They're not huge, but they're obviously in an elevated area, which makes it it gets quite cold up here at night time. During winter, depending on the time where the machine is in, where I am as well. So yeah, fluctuating temperatures, man. We wear hoodies.
Yeah. All right. So now from J Fifield, friggin' 10K. That went quick. Question: what is your favorite part about being a caster? Question 2: what would you say is your most memorable moment while casting or playing a game? By the way, watched you guys for a while now, and you guys always have some quality content. Cheers for that, mate. Thank you, Jay. So I think we kind of mentioned our favorite casting and or playing moment, but the first one is a good question.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, favorite part about being a caster. It's probably the hype. It really is. It's just, I don't know, that sounds like silly, but it's the hype. It's the enjoyability of like casting, with someone and having that, just the energy is involved in casting.
It's exhilarating. It's a rush.
Palpable for given we have to add in an Archon Hawk pro vocabulary. It's a palpable energy.
Well, what does palpable mean?
Palpable, like you can feel it. You can mash around the energy.
Right.
It's an existing presence of energy. So
yeah. I certainly agree. When there's like a really big engagement, that's something that's unexpected. There's a lot of tension. You know what's going to happen, and we get keen, and we're like, oh, nice engagement, King Tiger's going in, but will he lose the Jacks? And it's like, you get super hype, and that's just like really, really fun. I think the other part of it is that people view it and enjoy it. Again, we mentioned that earlier. I think if no one watched us, like, it'd still be fun, but you wouldn't really have the motivation to keep doing it. So the fact that people watch it and enjoy it and really appreciate what we do. But yeah, I think ultimately it's just getting in the moment, getting so invested and immersed into the game, and then when pro players do really awesome plays in micro and it's just like so impressive, and then there's like massive epic tank battles. We did just recently post a hype montage, lots of hype, and yeah, some of our best moments of casting, at least things that sound the best. I mean, that video, a part of that was kind of as like a what's the word for it? A portfolio. Like if I was to apply for a shoutcasting position at say like Relic or whatever, I would be like, hey, check out this montage that I made. So there was obviously a bit bias there where it wasn't necessarily like the most epic moments, and it was pretty much all me because it was kind of like my portfolio thing. I guess we should like maybe make one for Blake, but I typically do the
I do less play-by-play now. Yeah, actually. Less
which we can change that,
Yeah, I mean, we work it in well, I think. We combine quite well together. And that's playback from our League of Legends stage, which has a much stricter casting different games, and this is something, different casting interaction. I mean, this is something we could probably talk about later. Do you want to talk about it now? The different, right. So I'll go now. So different games have different ways you're more set into casting in some games. Like League of Legends, for example, is very strict in the way not only the differentiation between color casters or the analytical casters and the play-by-play or hype casters. There really is a strong definition between the two, so it's a trade-over period where, you know, the play-by-play caster will do the engagement, and then the color caster will break down the engagement, or sometimes the play-by-play will break it down, but then the analytical caster comes in and talks about what's going on in the game. In the case of League of Legends, what people are building and things like that, and it's also very strict in terms of like this person has to talk, then this person has to talk, analytical, then play-by-play, then analytical, then play-by-play. You have much more freedom in RTS games if you want to go into that. So.
Also, like, something else you kind of forgot is color casters in League would often do like the narrative of player backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's another thing.
Some games are very systematic, and that's not just what the casters do. That's like the requirements. Like, if you are going to cast for Riot, you have your specialty, and then you have other games like Smite where it's the opposite. They actually really encourage like and require like two casters to kind of both intermingle. You know, they both do an analysis. They both kind of hand off play by play. And so I mean our interaction was solidified in League of Legends, and we were generally stuck with that. I would say with 0 Hour, it's like half. Like,
yeah,
there isn't a lot of necessarily like hype in 0 Hour or play by play. Well, okay, no, I'd say that there isn't as much play-by-play, but there's still hype. And I'd say we separate that pretty even. Company Heroes, I generally do the hype.
And I do a lot of kind of setups as well, but what I've gotten really good at and what I really enjoy is the breakdown of fights or engagements in terms of Company of Heroes 2, with the machine mainly doing the camera control vast majority of the time. He also has to cast. You don't always catch the minute parts of each engagement. This is kind of a leftover from doing League of Legends, where I can watch an engagement, I can see absolutely everything that happens during that engagement, and then it gives me the ability to break that down after. If you're both trying to hype cast it and then try and break it down, it doesn't really work. Because if you're hype casting, you're just picking up on whatever you see at the time. You just have to jump on things and make sure your words flow together well, and it doesn't give you the chance to actually take an analytical look at the engagement and be able to break that down. You obviously don't get replays in terms of or playbacks in terms of our casting. So I can just sit there and I can look at the engagement. I know everything that happens. I know which shots bounce. I know when the damage engine came out. I know from which squad it came out. I know where the Molotov came from. And then I kind of go from there.
Good point, yeah. Like, I'll focus on the tank battle that's happening, but then meanwhile, there'll be like a squad wipe, or exactly. Like a pack will be decrewed or something, and I won't like notice that, but he'll like then mention that later on. And so yeah, I think maybe we'll kind of like balance that out a little bit. Like, I think it sounds really good if like if I do like a play-by-play hype and then Blake like jumps in as well, and it's like this back and forth. Like, that sounds pretty good.
And that works well for longer engagements as well.
Yeah, longer engagements. And then also then the problem is when it's like Dawn of War 2, and I obviously have played a lot of DAO 2, Blake hasn't really as much, so it's kind of hard for him to do analysis if he hasn't played it as much. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, the great thing about RTS and the great thing about YouTube is that we do whatever we want. You know, we don't have to adhere to specific guidelines, which you would if you were casting for like a company like Riot or Hi-Rez, or I mean, I don't know what Counter-Strike is like, but whatever.
Yeah, I haven't really broken down their casting. I enjoy their casting style, but I haven't really taken a chance to break it down. But
yeah. I lost my train of thought, but that's fine. We'll move on. So, okay, next question. I mean, you can read this out. I've been reading them all out.
This is the next one. So, the Swift Saber one. Yeah, Swift Saber. From Swift Saber. Since you're asking, what are your impressions of Total War Warhammer and Dawn of War 3 so far? Will you be covering them at all on the channel? And are you familiar with the Warhammer 40k universes? Been subscribed to you for a year now, and your co-content, for your co-2 content, and it was always fantastic. You branch out into Dawn of War 2 Elite mod, so keep up the fine quality as ever. Thank you very much.
I should increase the font.
Swift Saber.
It's 12
Yeah,
now.
it's kind of hard for me sitting back here.
Sorry.
There we go. I mean, I'm not blind, but it does make it difficult to speak clearly.
I've lost where it was now.
Okay.
Oh,
you
there it
you
was.
shouldn't
Yeah.
have done this.
Okay, no, it's
What
fine.
is
I
this
fixed
pod
it. I
thing?
fixed
You
it.
sure? Promise?
All right, so. Okay, so with Dawn of War 3, we said like we are definitely going to be playing the game. And I'm going to be hounding Relic, be like, yo, give us some beta keys. Damn it. Beta keys. Total War Warhammer, I never got into those games. What about you? Did you play them?
I didn't play. I haven't played the Total War Warhammers. I knew, but yeah. I've played some Total War games and have enjoyed them. Not to the point where I would cast them, but I have certainly played some of the franchise more than I have other ones. So
yeah, I played the old ones, but I was just like, how do micro?
Yeah.
How do micro? But nah.
I really enjoyed Shogun 2. Actually, that's probably my favorite out of the entire series. I haven't actually played Total War Warhammer. I've been meaning to have a look at it, at least on Twitch, if nothing else. So I might do in the future. I might have a look at that.
It's one of those typical things where it's like, oh well, if you cover this game, you would get lots of views, and it's like, yeah, but like I don't want to cover the video. And plus, also like when it's a game like that where it's like a very strategic, slow-paced game. In order to do a shoutcast, you have to just be doing analysis the entire time because you can't play-by-play hype. Like I think we could play-by-play hype, like whatever RTS game it is, and that's fine. But to do analysis, like you have to actually understand the game, and if there's a game that's entirely strategy, you can't just cast it. Like unless you're really funny or something. So yeah, I guess that answers that question. What was your first?
And yes, we're into the I think we went over the fact we're into the Warhammer 40k universe. Yeah, sure.
What was your first CNC game and why? Who introduced you to it? Did you make a seductive eye contact in a game store? Was it even free with a PC? What do you guys do? Like, have you just been to uni or left home? Okay, we mentioned that, but first CNC game I ever played, I think it was Red Alert 1. It was either Red Alert 1 or like the original CNC, even though it would have been a few years later because, again, I would have been 2 when... Probably even like 1.5 when that was released. But I'm pretty sure it was Red Alert 1. I remember we only had the Soviet disc. We couldn't do the Allied campaign. Only Soviets. But I played every CNC game since then. I didn't think I got really big into Tiberian Sun. But I definitely played like the original CNC, Tiberian Dawn, Red Alert 1, Red Alert 2. I remember when I first tried to play Generals, it wouldn't run on my PC. I got very sad. Ultimately, though, it was my brothers that got me into that. I don't remember where they got it from, maybe their friend or something, but my older brothers were into gaming before I was. They got me to CNC. I mean, I was playing all the old school RTS games, which is why I'd like to think I'm pretty decent in RTS games and have a good understanding and a good passion of them as well. Like, I enjoy RTS more than every other genre of games, and I think because of those early memories playing them as a kid. But yeah, I played original Age of Empires, StarCraft, Warcraft 2, all that stuff. What about you, Blake? Was yours Generals?
I mean, no. Yeah, well, it was actually. Yeah, to go to the point, 0 Hour actually, and you introduced me to it. That's the thing. There you go. The RTS master at work. So my introduction to RTS games as a whole was a little bit late, though I was very into the Age of Empires series. I was big into that, man. I had every cheat memorized. I was mad. Got my
Big Daddy.
My Big Mama. What's the baby one? The baby on the
equals MC.
C.
I don't know.
It was something like that. Yeah, I'd remember it a bit. Anyway, I was big into that. It was great at my 25 horse archer micro. That was on point. No, I was a huge fan of the Age of Empires series. Both Age of Empires Gold Edition, I think, was my first RTS game. Obviously, I expanded and played a lot of Age of Empires 2 as well. Not HD when that came out, but I played like a lot of Age of Empires. I didn't get into StarCraft though. Interestingly, it seems to be where
casual man.
I know that's why I'm not as good at RTS games. What the hell? Someone should have got me into that. But no, I was into like Age of Empires and stuff.
There was one time in Australia where there was a breakfast cereal called Nutrigrain. I don't know if that's international as well. But yeah, it came with a free copy of Age of Empires.
Hey, cool.
That was
Nice.
awesome. The only thing we didn't explain there is, do we live out of home? So I don't. I rent a house that my dad owns. So yeah, I have to pay rent and stuff and pay bills and such. But it's pretty good. I have a good independence, but it's still like very chill because, you know, my landlord is my father. So there isn't like house inspections. It's pretty chilled. So I'm pretty fortunate where I am.
I'm still at home myself,
he's
so yeah, which is fine because
plebeian.
my parents are pretty awesome, so I don't plan on moving out yet. It's not easy to move out in Australia.
Yeah,
it's not even easy to rent, let alone try and buy a house.
Oh yeah, it's so expensive here. I was gonna say, I think if you moved out, your dad would miss hearing all about Maxims.
He would too, yeah. He wouldn't hear about my gaming experiences, so yeah, wouldn't want him to miss out on that. So I'm still at home, which is awesome. I'm cool with that.
All right, next question, Hector
Doomhammer. You always get the cool names.
Hector Doomhammer.
Yeah.
Do you plan to collaborate with other shoutcasters for YouTube videos? So Hector Doomhammer, I can see why he's asking this because he is of course a Rise of Reds caster. He does a fair bit of streaming. So if you do want to see more Rise of the Reds content, this guy has been doing it for a long time and he's very active. So check him out. So we have been doing a lot of shoutcasts. I mean, mainly myself, a lot of co-casts with other people, mainly for Company of Heroes. During ESL, we would cast with a bunch of Americans for Company of Heroes. I've done random co-casts with, people like other YouTubers. I think with Zero Hour, it's a bit different though, because Zero Hour, our content for Zero Hour it's very personality driven. Because like when it comes to Zero Hour, we don't take it that seriously. Like we spend a lot of the time just joking about stupid stuff. Whereas Company Heroes is a bit more professional, a bit more like analysis, and if that makes sense. So yeah, but I mean, I'm happy to do some co-casts and stuff. It's just kind of hard to organize time zones and such.
Which is why I'm not always present for these collaborations. Plus, trio cast can get awkward. It's a possibility. It's very hard to.
When there's 3 people, it gets a bit different. Like I had one guy contact me asking if he wanted me to do some like Dawn of War 2 casts with him, and it's a good idea because like our analysis of Dawn of War 2 isn't very good, and he's like a decent player, so having someone that can provide more analysis can help. But yeah, so we can certainly do some collabs down the line. Anyway, what is your favorite faction / general from the Command and Conquer series? We kind of covered that. Yours is Imp. Mine, I would say, is Trying to Nuke. I just think they're a very well-designed faction. Not only the Battle Master, but also the fact that Trying to Nuke doesn't have any units removed. The Nuke MiG is kind of an interesting design. I mean, I'm trying to think of any other RTS games, like other CNC games. I really like Red Alert 3, though. Like, I got really into Red Alert 3, because at the time when Zero Hour was out, I didn't have net. I wasn't playing the game multiplayer, where I actually played a lot of Red Alert 3. I got into like the top 50 in the leaderboards when that game was actually quite popular. I think Red Alert 3 was much better designed, much better balanced. There was more strategic variation than Zero Hour. But I mean, as for that question, I mean, I played a lot of Soviets in Red Alert 3, but well, I think I enjoy the design of Red Alert 3 overall more than Zero Hour. I think I really like and enjoy the design of China Nuke, at least in terms of how it relates and how it's compared to other generals within Zero Hour.
Cool. Covers that one.
Yeah.
Next
question. But
yeah, I'm just wondering if you wanted to go on.
Oh no. Well,
so,
but back to the Red Alert 3 question. Yeah. Like I would love to cast more Red Alert 3, but it's just Blake's a shitter and hasn't played that game enough. But yeah, I'll do some more casts.
I will
eventually.
throw down more BM, man. Don't provoke me.
I should actually write an article about why I like Red Alert 3 and why I think its design is great. Anyway, you can go on. Okay,
so 808 in square says to be or not to be. When I'm playing League of Legends, and I want to be like I'm low on health or I'm low on mana or like whatever. I mean, you just gotta look at your gold. That's at the end of the day. You gotta look at your gold and just be like, do I have enough for this needlessly rod?
Should you be, Blake?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, do I have enough for the BF sword? If not, maybe I can push another wave in. If my last hitting is on point, get a little bit of extra gold, and then I could be.
You want to make sure your lane is pushed as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there are important things to consider there. So sometimes they be, sometimes they don't be. You just gotta think about it.
All right. So, next question from Rain Storm. Anytime you wanna remove the anti-spoiler filler, it hurts mobile users with data cap plans. So that's actually a pretty valid criticism to the anti-spoiler screen, because I think most people that are like, well, I want to know how long it is, we'll just check. That though, yeah, that's actually a good point. It would be putting more data on. I don't know how YouTube, how its like codec works. I tried finding it out, but I couldn't actually get any answer. So the way that works for the video side is you can put variable bitrate, which means that the end of the video isn't using up much like data, because like when I say data, I should say like bandwidth in terms of file size.
Yeah.
For like the computer, for the file. And then that makes longer videos not necessarily a bigger file, because it's the same screen. Variable bitrate means that it won't change unless it needs to. However, I have no idea how YouTube works. If YouTube, the code, because whenever you put a video on YouTube, it changes its codecs to make it all consistent. Whether or not it removes that or not, I don't know. Probably not, actually. But ultimately, sorry to hear that, but the vast majority of our people don't watch videos on mobile data, and this has never come up before, so obviously not many people are affected by this, and I would plan our videos around appealing to the most amount of people, and also what I would want if I was watching a video. So sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, no, we are sticking with that just because I think it's a great thing, and most of our people do enjoy that, and most of our people aren't worried about that. One maybe little solution though is if you go on YouTube Red, I know everyone hates that, but you can download videos off of YouTube and then like on your Wi-Fi when you're at home, and then when you're out, then you can watch those videos that you've downloaded without using your data. And then things with YouTube Red as well is actually, there's no ads obviously, but like the YouTuber actually gets a lot more money from that than what like you would just by an organic like ad view. But that's a solution. Maybe is, yeah, if that's a big problem, YouTube Red, you can download videos on Wi-Fi. I don't know. Anyway, Bullet 7392. So this one is kind of deep, I guess. Here we go. What do you think of Code 2 in terms of how it was handled and its business model? From optimization to community responses to payment to balance, even its launch. How well do you think Relic Sega did, and what do you think they could have done to improve anything? On my own thoughts, I think there's a lot to be desired, and honestly, if something similar came along with similar gameplay but better optimization / payment model, I'd jump ship a long time ago. Curious to hear what your thoughts are, and sorry if this question is a bit difficult. I don't know. I'm sure there are plenty who disagree on ours. That's actually a good question. I mean, for the record, we obviously love Company Heroes 2. I've done a big video on that. The most viewed video on the channel is why Company Heroes 2 is awesome. But yes, there are certainly a lot of problems. The monetization is a big problem. The optimization, yeah. And this is kind of a can of worms, but I think we can answer this. It's actually an interesting point.
Yeah.
If you want to start.
Oh, sure. Let me get into it, man. I'll just open up my my memory bank of one of the rants that the machine threw at me, and I'll throw it back out again. We like to have, if we don't have a Company of Heroes 2 rant a week, it's an odd week.
Well, we're having StarCraft rants.
We are having StarCraft rants. That's true.
And just to interject, that's exactly it, right? We are so sick of this current patch. We're playing StarCraft 2 instead. We're waiting until the next patch comes out until we start playing Co again. But the patching of Company Heroes is a bit inconsistent. And they're not always good patches, but the next patch looks very promising. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Okay, right. So I guess I'll talk about maybe the payment model, for example. So there are probably the good thing is you can get into that game cheap. You can get into Company of Heroes 2 for not very much money, even if it's only just a couple of factions. You can get them separately, and the good thing about that, you don't have to buy, $1,000 worth of DLC.
$1,000.
That's an exaggeration, but you don't have to spend this much money, buy every single bit of content in the game to be able to play it. You can buy just the base games. You can get Soviets and Wehrmacht. You can get USF. You can OKW, and you can get the UKF, the British Forces, of course. And all of these will allow you to play the game in multiplayer. They will all allow you to do that.
So $12.50
USD
USD for British, which is probably the cheapest. Like if I go like Company of Heroes to Western Front Armies, probably like $15.
Probably something like that, yeah. So, enter your date of birth to continue. Always do that. You gotta lock it behind age gate, so that's
$17.50 for two factions.
Yeah, or you can pay less to go over Commander West or USF separately. So, and I like that. I like that you can get to the multiplayer, even if it's a small, if it's just that portion of the game, you can get into that, and you can still play that whole faction in multiplayer, the same as someone who owns every bit of the DLC can get. In terms of how the model is handled for the DLC, I don't mind the idea of having DLC, especially in terms of skins, for example. I think that's a good way to do it. If you want to change your game aesthetically and get skins, that's cool. No worries. That's awesome. That's a nice way to monetize your game. I really like that. It's just, okay, you give us money if you want different skins on your tanks. Okay, I want different skins on my tank, please. Okay, just a little bit of extra money and you have skins on your tanks. Good system. Works for everyone. Then no one's mad. I don't think.
You mad?
I mean, no, I'm not mad. Not personally. I mean, I don't like skins though. So, you know, skins.
Like, how many anti-skins do you have?
All of them.
Don't tell me you don't like skins.
Come on, man.
Blake has every anti-skin.
I don't like Company of Heroes 2 skins. I don't use Company of Heroes 2 skins a lot. But getting off the point, Commanders. I mean, it's a problem because it's locking content behind money, locking content behind money, and also I guess you can talk about it in terms of loadout, but I'll just talk about it in terms of monetary. It's locking content for those factions behind, you know, DLC, and I don't really agree with that. I mean, I'm not going to call it a pay-to-win model, but it's certainly an issue if you want to go into that
DLC and microtransactions is inherently a good thing because it basically incentivizes a company to provide a long-term support for their game. However, DLC and microtransactions that influences multiplayer content is that can end badly. So for example, spending money getting the new overpowered commander, which then you will win more, and which is necessary in tournaments for a very long period of time. If you wanted to play US in a tournament, you had to buy Rifle Company, because Rifle Company with Rifleman Flamers was just the best company. I think there are plenty of alternative ways to monetize a game without affecting multiplayer. I mean, you mentioned skins. That's only the start of it. What you should have said is cosmetics, because skins is one thing. You could go voice acting, different voices, different animations, different models for your tanks. And I think with a historic World War II setting, I think there's actually a lot of room for actual cosmetics and things like, faceplates. Like, I think if you spend money on a faceplate, I think you're kind of stupid. But like, why not give players the options? People will spend money on cosmetics. League of Legends and Counter-Strike is an example, and there's no harm in that because it doesn't affect the multiplayer. You may have a bunch of people that spent all the money on these faceplates, but like, who cares? Like, it doesn't affect the game. If they want to spend their money on this game, on faceplates, I think they're kind of stupid, but good on them. But I think then, like, skins, I think you can actually have some really cool looking skins, and single player DLC is great. Why not? But DLC that affects multiplayer. Hey, this new commander, not only does it create balance issues, it also, as you say, locks away content. So it makes the base factions less interesting and less diverse. Say you look at US, for example. US don't have flamers. Well, but they do if you go Rifle Company, Echelon Flamers. Okay, but also US don't have heavy tanks. Well, they do if you go Persian Commander. It's like, okay, but what if I want rocket artillery? Well, you have to go tactical support. So you can get these cool mechanics, but you can't get all of them. And it's not just extra content. It's things that are integral to the counter system of the game. US not having flamers, you can't clear garrisons. You suffer when playing on urban maps. US not having rocket artillery, you suffer when playing late game kind of camp battles, like where there's lots of packs and stuff. So I think part of it is the design flaws of the factions, and I mentioned this in my video about asymmetry, is that the factions should all have access to their tools. Every company, every commander, no, sorry, every faction should have machine guns, mortars, flamers, artillery, like good riflemen. They should each have these things, and there are plenty of ways to make factions unique and asymmetric, while still giving them core mechanics. I mean, look at Soviets. Look at Wehrmacht. Those two factions have flamers, mortars, machine guns, snipers, rocket artillery, and they still play out differently from each other. So I think the design of the factions is my main concern, and the commanders tie into that, but I don't think that's necessarily the problem. I mean, that's a pretty big question. I think Company Heroes 2 launched with a lot of problems, and I think a lot of that was, maybe because of THQ going bust, Sega picking it up and it being a bit rushed. But it's been improving very gradually. The things like no more cold tech, things like the reworks of certain factions. In the next patch, US are getting a mortar, OKW getting an MG. They're actually improving the factions, and it's looking really promising. I just think Relic, and one of the main problems I have with their patching is they have a tendency to over buff and over nerf units. So say a unit is underpowered, rather than just nerfing it, or rather than buffing it, they'll buff its health and its damage and lower its cost. They have these multi-layered buffs and nerfs that actually turn a unit from being underpowered to then really overpowered. So then patching and balancing is always back and forwards, especially when you combine that with all of the new DLC content. So, I mean, this is a long topic, and I think we'll breeze over that with that just now, but yeah, I would prefer they didn't do Commanders DLC. I think because it sacrifices the diversity of the core factions, and I think they need to be a little bit more careful with their patching, a little bit more gradual, I guess. That's my main concerns, anyway.
Gradual consistency is good. The other thing to add to that is the I guess the kind of infrequency of balance changes while we're on that point limits their ability to tackle core problems with the game. Like, how long did we have Cold Tech for? How long did we have this for? How long did we have Overbad Minds for? Because they're constantly looking at, okay, this unit is a big problem. Like, these units are a big problem. We're going to need to tone these down. So that's what they focus on for the patch. And then they'll release more content or something else will come up. And then these units are overpowered, these units are underpowered. And that's the things they need to address. Well, you're addressing the units that have problems, but like mines are still one-shotting infantry squads, so it limits your ability to look at the core problems within the game that exist across factions. If you have to constantly focus on nerfing it and buffing units because of different strengths, varying strengths due to lots of content and gameplay changes. So. Yeah, and I think they've been doing well in going back on their big decisions. Like, the next patch, they're removing Shreks on Volsgrenadiers. They've changed the resources for OKW, so they aren't afraid to admit they're wrong and change these core things. I remember Cold Tech was a big part of the marketing for Company Heroes 2. So when they're changing something, even though it was marketed and hyped, that shows a bit of humility, I think, which is pretty impressive. Also, then, because they're the next patch is based off of a mod, so they're obviously listening to feedback well. But anyway, next question. With Wildheart, do you think EA is ever going to sell the Command & Conquer series to any other company? I'll leave that to you.
No, nope, they won't. EA have bought a lot of IP and franchises over the years. They have never sold any of them, and it wouldn't be in their best interests because that will, it's just more competition. No, they won't. No.
I mean, like, if you pick up Park Lane on Monopoly, you're gonna sell that, man. Like, even if you don't have Mayfair, if you're not producing good games, you're not gonna sell Park Lane. You're gonna hang on to that. You're gonna put a house, try and get a hotel in there eventually. So that's a nice way to look at it.
I mean, EA have butchered various great franchises. CNC, Wing Commander, what was it? Dungeon Keep. Yeah, there's a lot of franchises that they have just destroyed. No, I'm not saying that Command & Conquer type RTSs are dead, but the brand CNC is dead. Anyway, what is the future of Zero Hour? We've mentioned this. We've mentioned that. All right, next question. Oh wow. First from FK Scorpion. First of all, congrats to your 10k subscribers. I hope you'd reach them when you read this. Yes, we have. Through your casts, I've learned a lot about KOTOR and Zero Hour, which I played both a very long time, but somehow always seems to play it wrong. Your casts give me a new way of looking at many units and tactics, so thanks for that. I'd like to ask 2 questions. How likely is it that you'll cast another Red Alert 3 game? We've mentioned that. Probably. Very likely. I was surprised myself that I enjoyed watching a cast of that game too. Non-game related. Have you ever been to Germany? And do you have any prejudices about Germans/Germany? If so, what are they? I find it very amusing to hear what other nationalities think about us. Hope the talk about your channel future will be that you get sponsored by energy drink to do 24/7 casting. I've been to Germany. I was there last year, about a year ago actually. I went all around, well not all around, but I went partly around Europe. I was in Germany for Gamescom, which was, it's okay. PAX was better. I met a friend, CNCHD, that does 0 hour shoutcasts. I casted with him at his house. Of course, I was in Berlin. I stayed with a friend who's actually Australian, but he was living there with his girlfriend. Him and I went to the Münster Panzer Museum. We saw a lot of tanks. I have a lot of photos on the Facebook page for General Gentlemen. That was awesome. That was actually probably the highlight of my trip in Germany, was going to the tank museum. It was so awesome seeing all these iconic tanks that I have known in movies and games and company heroes for so long, and seeing them in person and seeing the immensity of them, the scale. It was incredible. So, I mean, see, the thing is though, is when you're traveling, you don't get a very fair idea of people, because like people treat tourists differently to if you're actually living there. I mean, Germans were certainly nice, but I think people are nice everywhere. Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we don't have any set prejudices in Australia against Germany. I don't. So
yeah, like I think
German people, like none. I don't really have them against anyone, really.
I think people in different countries are more similar than stereotypes.
Yeah.
Nothing comes to mind. I mean, maybe I'll think of something later on, but to be honest, no, I can't really think of anything out of the ordinary. Everyone there spoke pretty good English, so they were friendly and stuff. Anyway, next question. You can read these out.
Okay, sure thing. Thanks, man. Thanks for the permission. I do appreciate it. I hate to go off script. V Grab here. Grats, boys. You deserve it. Thank you very much. What's your rank on 0 hour? And is there any way we can get a chance to play with you guys? I want to stomp like, oh, God.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah. Everyone wishes they could.
Well,
most people do, you know.
I mean, I don't think you have ranks in 0 hour. You have clan wars, but that doesn't. No one plays that anymore. Yeah, 0 hour, there isn't really a thing of ranks. I mean, I'm top 100 in Company Heroes 2. Admittedly, we don't actually play 0 hour that much. We land it sometimes and we play like, every now and again, but we don't really play it actively. Is there any way you can play with us? So we play with our Patreon backers pretty frequently. Like, obviously, a lot of people ask us all the time if they can play games with us, and we just frankly don't really have the time to play with everyone. But if you do want to play games with us, if you do join us on Patreon, we have our Patreon chat where we do organize games from time to time, and we just have some fun team games or 1v1s, and we can do some coaching and stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you want to play, that's basically the way to do so. But as much as we'd love to play with everyone, we don't exactly have the time to do so.
Yeah. If you want more of a subjective scale, we did 2v1 Rage once. So, I mean, I guess we're I don't know, half of Rage's rank, whatever that works out to be. Yeah.
What do you think should be done to revive the CNC franchise by Chris M?
Dead game.
Dead franchise, yeah. I think hopefully people that really enjoyed CNC and 0 hour will make their own game. It won't be Command & Conquer, but it can be heavily inspired by.
Very cool. Isn't that a comment? That's not really a question, is it?
Oh, I was letting you read it, man. I'm trying to make you read some. I don't want to be the tyrant here that takes.
Yeah, I know. I have to read through these because a couple of these are comments you didn't edit out.
Oh,
so
sorry.
I'm just having a look through. It's a comment as well. It doesn't really cover.
Yeah.
Oh, that one there. Okay.
Well, didn't we answer that? Oh, FPSs, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So from Matthew Defeatus, hey man, what's your favorite BO3 best 3 that you've casted in CO2? Do you play FPSs? If so, which ones? So I'll go for that. The best one, and I can't remember which one this was. I have to think on it. It was definitely a couple of top players, but it was when Momo. One of them was in Momo, but
TPI 2.
Yeah, TPI 2.
Momo versus Paul.
Was
great. That was so high.
It was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the videos is in the montage there.
Okay,
It was the TPI 2 grand final between Momo and Paul.
So one of my favorite things about pro players in general is their ability, and this is why I love best of 3s. In the case of Zero, I love, best of 11s, best of 13s, Dreamlight games, is players' ability to adapt during tournaments and in stressful situations. And in this case, it was I'm pretty sure it was this game. Might have been another one where it's Paul just came at Momo with that. Was that the Partisan strat? That's another game, isn't it? The TPI might have been a different one.
Partisans?
No, remember. Okay, might have been another one. That was a really good series. I can't remember what happened in the games, but I'll just give an example of why I like BO3 series. It was their ability to adapt in game. So someone comes at a Momo with a really, I think it was Paul, comes at Momo with a really intense strat that we hadn't seen before in cast. I mean, that's saying something. We cast a lot of Company of Heroes 2. We play a lot of Company of Heroes 2. The fact we haven't seen that strat before, and obviously Momo hadn't, is a pretty big thing. And then it's adapting to the next game, and this happened in a Jezelin game as well. This happened in a lot of best of 3 series, but that TPI game was amazing. So it's players' ability to look at a strat, say, okay, how did I lose to this, and then adapt to it in the next game when they have that matchup again, and they come at it again, and then the player responds to it. They play really well against it, and that, I think that's amazing. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, it's something that I really enjoy about watching StarCraft, because StarCraft, it gives you there's a lot more strategy involved with a game like that, and when Company Heroes and Zero, when they have their own levels of that same sort of strategic diversity and adaptation, that's when you get really exciting play. I think Love Nest and Jezelin are probably the best at adapting. You have some players like Paul, they don't necessarily have the best variety of strategies, but they fine tune their builds and their play styles very well. I mean, I would just say again the Arse Bag, Pudding Bag, I think it was censored too. The Pudding Bag versus was Jezelin, the one that we did our first stream on with the con spam, and we casted it on the Relic Twitch, and that was just a great series, and it was a bit of hype. So do you play FPSs? I mean, Blake plays a lot of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I play. I mean, yeah, my friends play Counter-Strike, so I definitely jump in at LANs, with them when I have net. I definitely jump in and play a bit of Counter-Strike. So I'm not amazing at it. I'm a very mid-tier player. I'm probably on that 50% mark. I'm not great because I don't play a hell of a lot of it, but I really do enjoy Counter-Strike, and I think there's an FPS in particular that you're quite a big fan of.
Unreal Tournament 2004.
Ooh.
Okay, so
that game.
I used to not have internet when I was younger, and so I would just always play Unreal Tournament against bots and to improve, because there's not many FPS games you can actually play single player and actually improve. Most RTS games, bots are just retarded, but Unreal Tournament 2004, it's really fun. I mean, I played a lot of single player. I played at a lot of LANs as well. I just think the way that UT, it's like, there's no such thing with arena-based shooters like Quake and UT. There's no such thing as a lucky headshot. That you get shot from the back, it doesn't matter because it's so fast. So I think there's more raw skill in favor of strategies and things like Counter-Strike and team games. I would definitely say that. I mean, also for nostalgia's sake, Call of Duty 1, so good. We play that at LANs, even to this day. We still play it. Mainly the expansion United Offensive, because it puts in sprint, which helps a lot. Because I mean, originally Call of Duty, it's because of how clumsy your guns are. You're using bolt action rifles, so you're missing all the time. You're moving really fast. The movement's really high in those games.
It's so tense.
And you have your bolt action rifles, so you're really crappy. And you're trying to you have this really chaotic, frantic ducking in and out of cover. You're trying to melee each other. Because you got to reload your gun. It's such a fun experience, where Call of Duty now is just running around corners, dual wielding, fully automatic machine pistols, no aiming at all, calling down airstrike. It's just so noob.
Terrible.
It's like it's less about killing your opponent with guns and more about killing them with airstrikes. And then the gunplay is just spray and spam. So COD 2 as well for the same reason. The problem with COD 2 didn't have sprint. But there was a mod that you could put sprint in, Merciless mod, because sprint gives you a lot more like counterplay with dodging and juking and such. But COD 1, UT 2004, those games are fantastic. Alright, so next question. Lord Flashheart. Congrats, guys. You deserve it. My question is, are there any obscure games you would like to cast, but don't cast because of a lack of interest, replays, or good players? There was one called Rise of Nations, and people actually watched that.
As it turns out.
Yeah, when we casted Rise of Nations, we actually didn't expect anyone to really watch that. We just casted it because we were playing it, and we thought, hey, this is fun, we should cast it. And actually, surprisingly, and we're very happy to see that there was a lot of people that really enjoyed the casts and that were keen to see more, and as a result, we keep casting that game. So, ultimately, if there was one, we would cast it. Because that's what we've been doing, and it's been working out quite well for us. I mean, I can't really think of anything.
No, I can't either. I think we cover everything we want to cover, I'd say, so.
I mean, I would love to cast more like Red Alert 3 and stuff, but solo casting sucks. I mean, yeah, maybe I should do some more like co-casts with... I mean, who even casts Red Alert? I don't think anyone does anymore. I know CNC3 has... I can't remember his name, but there's some people that do CNC3. Like Green Zero, I don't know if he still does. There's another guy as well that I can't remember. But for Red Alert 3, Cybert, Rip Cybert. Maybe I'll do some cast of Cybert or something. But
what a champion.
Yeah, ultimately though, if there was any games, we would just cast it. Like we wouldn't care about views that much. Like we would maybe stop casting it if we casted it a fair bit, but we would at least just do 1 or 2 videos if we wanted to. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we'd still put it out. So, okay. So next question, Eternity 6. What is Blake doing with his life? Covered that. And what outlandish strategies, or which outlandish strategies in 0 Hour are your favorites? Thanks and congratulations for reaching this milestone. Thank you, Eternity. So outlandish strategies, there's too many to name. I was thinking about this question for a little bit, and it's just all I can think of are the last 5 games or so that we've casted and the outlandish strategies that were in those games. It's just, I don't really have a favorite.
Yeah, I think there's so many of them to list. I think that the part of the reason why 0 Hour is so great, and I think the thing that new RTS games often lack and they need to embrace is all the units have so much underlying and or unintentional interaction which then players can utilize. Say, supply trucks aren't just supply trucks. Supply trucks can also crush workers, can also crush infantry, can also kill Humvees by having friendly fire splash damage. So I just like seeing whenever players are able to utilize all these very strange quirks and actually make use of them. I just like aggression. I just like when players are aggressive. Yeah, I wouldn't say anything in particular, but just in general, there's a lot of different play styles and fun unit interaction that you can utilize. And that's why we like casting it.
I enjoy seeing Chinooks crash down and destroy buildings.
Yeah.
The generals, gentlemen, don't recommend you use that to destroy your opponent's base all the time.
Alright, okay. Tap dancing on your face too. Is there an RTS on the horizon that you think can match 0 Hour? With Generals 2 being cancelled, Grey Goo not being so great, where should we look now to Dow 3? I mean, so Ben, what do you mean by match 0 Hour? Because Dow 3 is going to be a very different style of game to 0 Hour. But in terms, if you just mean just a generally good RTS, I don't know, Dow 3, it's the best thing we have at the moment. Actually, the other thing as well to look forward to, which hasn't had much hype at all.
Did you end up looking into this?
Atlas. No. It's no Atlas game. Yeah. It's this RTS game. I know that they've acquired Day 9. Yeah, a new multiplayer real-time strategy from Artillery and Day 9 coming in 2016.
Hype.
And there's no there's no footage. There's not many screenshots. It hasn't had much hype, but it's looking kind of promising. When will it be released? We expect to lift the NDA on our closed testing in the summer, which would be North American, and reach open beta in late 2016. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We should definitely look into this.
We haven't signed up yet, have we? Or... I have to look into it.
I think I did. No, I'm pretty sure I did.
Another game?
I don't remember. Oh, no, that was that MOBA thing.
So many sign-ups.
Yeah, there was like this RTS...
MOBA, yeah, okay, that was
MOBA.
Yeah, okay.
I heavily use quotation marks because a lot of things just like, oh yeah, RTS, I don't actually understand what it means. Yeah, I should look into this. So Atlas and DAO 3, I can't think of anything else.
Plus you can meet your bae day 9, so...
Oh, day 9. Oh, he's so dreamy. He's so dreamy. But, yeah, maybe indies will spontaneously release something like 8-Bit Armies came out of nowhere, which is actually a cause for concern. And that ended up sucking, but I think something like 0 Hour could be released by an indie because it doesn't have to look super pretty and high end. It can just be very basic in terms of fidelity, but so long as it has those fun interactions and the strategy and such, I don't know. We'll see. It's too early to speculate. Over speculating and over hyping doesn't end well. Because you just get burnt out when you play a game that doesn't meet your expectations and you go, oh, this game sucks.
So this is from Leo Orkin. 10k, woohoo indeed. I should have really put some more.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! That's
nice.
A bit more energy. There we go. Big fan. How about you guys tell us about yourselves and some cool trivia stuff like first game you played and broadcasted? I guess we've covered a lot of that, haven't we?
Well, the first game I played, I think, was Age of Empires or one of those RTS games. Trivia stuff.
Covered most
trivia
stuff. What else?
Okay, let's pull out a fun fact. I mean, I can do the entire like the what the guy called the I'm forgetting, this is embarrassing now. The person's name is The Great Dictator Speech by Charlie Chaplin. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I won't do it, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I like speeches, so I like watching. Like, I can also do the Aragon speech, but it is not this day. That's like a really easy one. It's like 6 lines. Yeah, I like speeches. I can do some of them. I don't know, what about you?
I guess along that same line, I was head boy of my high school, so I had to give a speech for that.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good, actually.
I want to see your speech. Yeah, Blake's really popular. He was head boy.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah. First, congratulations. Oh, this is by...
Oh, we should probably clarify that. Valedictorian as well is the equivalent.
Okay.
For some countries.
Right.
Some countries don't have head boys.
Or your regional equivalent.
Yeah. Yes, whatever that happens to be.
Barkazig asks, first, congratulations on hitting 10,000 subscribers. It's a proper small army of loyal fans who anxiously anticipate Company Heroes, Dawn of War, Rise of Nations, and CNC uploads. My friends and I are big fans of Coat 2 and would like to see more of top tier 1v1 players duking it out. Thanks for the opportunity to voice our opinions like this. You're doing a great job. Okay, that wasn't really a question, but anyway, that's fine.
That's okay.
And he says he wants to see more top 1v1 players. That's what we do, actually. Like for 0 Hour and for Company Heroes, for every RTS we do, the majority of our content is the top however many, top 50, top 100 players playing. I mean, I think it just provides the most entertaining replays when you have the best players with the best micro, the best strategies, the most adaptive.
They can get the most out of the game.
Yeah,
that's probably a good way of looking at that. So.
Yeah, so that's what we will do in the future. That's what we've been doing in the past. So thank you. Next question, we answered that. What got you into casting?
So that's right. And
now next one. This is we left this one to the end.
We did.
This is by Rick Span, Mr. Rikers. If you've watched Rise of Nations content, you'd recognize him.
Oh, it is Rikers.
Yes, this is Rikers.
Man.
This was not only the very first question asked, but it also has the most likes. It has 12 likes. So what is the question, Blake?
Why is Blake so bad at video games?
Well, Blake, why are you bad at video games?
Okay. I mean, I can probably I'll give a real answer before you start having a go at me.
Well,
so,
I'll just preface that question by saying League of Legends.
Well, that is a big problem. Right, so I don't have net at home. I think we've probably gone into this multiple times over cast. It's a very sore point of me. I don't have gameable net at home, and that is, I mean, it's seriously limited my gaming experience. You could compare it to child abuse, let's be honest. Like, I mean, not giving your child access to ADSL internet, or more accurately, the Australian government not giving me access to ADSL internet. Come on, guys, you're better than that.
To clarify, it's the infrastructure. It's not like his parents being like, you don't have internet.
Australia being, there is no infrastructure there for you to have good internet, because we figured, hey, like, copper wires are good, let's just not run them everywhere though, you know. Let's be 20 years behind the rest of the world. So yeah, I mean, there are some games that you can certainly kind of learn at home, but I mean, really, to play games you need internet for multiplayer games, multiplayer games. So certainly limited my experience in getting into games, and as a personal challenge as well, getting as good as I got at League of Legends casting despite not having net was like a pretty good achievement. But yeah, it's also investing my time unwisely in playing games like League of Legends, which are fun casually, but really don't contribute to my growth as a player or a caster, though I still enjoy them. Yeah, would be the other side of that. But I am getting into more games. It's also lack of time. I mean, I do have a lot of other things on. Up until recently, you know, I was working full-time with the martial arts, with doing everything else, and a busy social life, and casting on top of that doesn't really leave a lot of time until recently, which is why we've actually started getting into mods, because I've been able to play Shockwave and Rise of the Reds at home, and actually, you know, have the time to invest into those, and so we can create more diverse content. So now I've got a bit more time up my sleeve, at least for the moment.
I think people are going to be surprised how much we've brought up League of Legends and StarCraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Blake, like every single weekend ever, he's like, all right, whose net am I stealing today?
Yeah, you just pick a friend and just, all right, guys, you having a LAN? You're not having a LAN. I'm coming over anyway. Hey, man, we're having a LAN. Nice to see you. I brought my PC.
I was the same, too. When I was living with my dad, near actually where Blake lives, I didn't have net in my house either, because it was kind of a remote, about an hour away from Perth. So basically every weekend I would just go to a friend's house and use their internet. I remember what I would do is when I went to school, I would download replays off of the school computers, like from GameLifts.org, whether it was 0 Hour or back then like Dawn of War 2, which I got pretty into. I would like get the replays on a flash drive, go home, watch the replays, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, learn the strats. And on the weekends when I would have net, then I would go like, yeah, all right, let's play these games now. So yeah, not having internet is a bit of a shame, but
yeah.
It's okay.
I can get that. The machine will get there eventually. He has a lot of faith in me, which I appreciate.
If Blake spent all the time he spent playing League of Legends, playing like
can you imagine?
Company of Heroes, he'd like easily be top 100 man.
Easy man, no worries. But definitely big ups to GG MBN Lord, GG Background Dude, Trevor, and the machine who enabled me to have access to net and actually become a shoutcaster and gamer.
And to be fair, you're pretty good at League of Legends.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, pretty good. So, yeah.
Well, that's it for our questions. It's been a long video, so thank you for those that have stayed with us for this long.
Nice.
We don't expect all of our viewers to have watched a 2.5 hour vlog, and that's fine. And yeah, we wanted to just make these videos to give everyone the time that they deserve, responding to their questions as a thank you for sticking with our channel for as long as you have. If you're new to the channel, I hope you enjoy sticking with us for watching all our RTS videos. I think we've covered pretty much everything, unless we've missed something out here.
My brain's hurting from answering so many questions, machine. It's been a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
As for me, at least, for closing words, it's just I'd like to thank everybody who are allowing us to keep this going. So just everyone who watches our videos. Commons just watches, as the machine was saying earlier, just shares with their friends. It's just a pretty fantastic community. You guys have always been very supportive of our content and allow us to expand into other games as well. We really do appreciate everyone who watches our videos and supports us.
Yeah, all right, well, that'll wrap us up for now. So, as always, if you do want to support the channel, if you want to keep us living the dream, you can, of course, support us on Patreon. That would greatly help us continue what we're doing. And yeah, later on, I hope we can run our own tournaments with prize pools, things like that, and kind of grow our community a bit more than just making videos. So yeah, all right, well, that'll wrap us up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.
Cheers, guys.